Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show. How is everybody today? We had a few poppers that we've been looking at lately. I saw on the scanner the other day. IONQ we looked at. Jennifer Lee gave us that one. That Nature's Miracle, NMHI, WBD. Remember, I said Warner Brothers was going to get crazy, and last night I said Lunar was going to go lunar. So there you go. A few poppers, a couple other ones, GFAI and CDIO running up. So there's some other ones. But let's get rolling through the list and see what's going on. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. And here we go. I hope everybody had a great day. The market is rolling. Stocks hit record for second day, and the yields dip after that Fed cut. Fed dropped the rates to point 0.2 or 25 whatever bias points, couldn't even think of the word. So yeah, they dropped that. We knew that was happening. We went over it yesterday. And so there you go. And Powell was saying that Trump can't fire him and blah blah blah, but we don't care about all that. So let's go through and see what's happening in the market. Like I said, the Mag 7 was super green. Financial sector was a little red today. And a lot of other ones were kind of red, but that Mag 7 is cruising there. So let's go over and see what's happening here with GFAI because that was rolling up today and we had just looked at it. It was on our list the other like a week or so ago, and then it's rolling up and it should try to get moving some more. So keep your eye on that. It looks like it's going to keep that momentum and try to cross through tomorrow, and that's what you're looking at. And it's going to get to the basically where was its high 115, a little above that, basically 118 right there. It gets over that, it can keep over that resistance right there, and it can really pop off if it gets over that. It looks like it wants to. It's a Friday tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on it in the morning, but it does look like it wants to keep that momentum right there. And that is GFAI. And again, we've been looking at it and it is moving. CDIO, let's look at that one. It was moving the other day, CDIO, and it was kind of moving up today. I think it had a little bit of pullback. Well, it ran up yesterday to what, 52 cents, and then today it opened 37, but it didn't get as high. It went to 46, but it got up into the top, and it actually looks pretty good up there to try to keep that momentum. So tomorrow morning, keep an eye on this because it looks like it's going to get up into that. It is in the top, and it looks like it has some more momentum left in it. See if it can get back over that high right there, that 52 cents the other day. And it would be really good if it can. If it can do that, it could really start popping up there in the top. So that's CDIO. And again, look for that momentum right there. And how about this yin and the yang? I mean, they completely reversed right there. I'm not gonna lie. The yin was set up, and I really didn't think it was gonna get crossed through this MACD. We watch a lot of them not do it, but I think they're what are they doing tonight? Aren't they having another um what was that? They're putting more money into it. I forget what the heck it's even called. Can't even think, but Laptop Travel will let us know what they're doing. I'm sure he's on it and he'll know what the Asian markets are doing as well. So yeah, they're stimulus. I think they're putting more stimulus package together or something. So yeah, the yen definitely. I mean, it jumped up over that 20 where the 20 was curled down on it, and now it's starting to curl back up and like I said, it's trying to crawl through that MACD, and it does look really good. So the yin is looking really good, unfortunately for us, because the yang was looking much better before, and they just completely changed courses right there. So let's look at the yang because the yin is looking good. That means the yang can't possibly be looking that great right now. And it is pulled back right there. Yeah, it was like completely curled up and then boom, big dip today. And now we have to see if it's going to want to bounce. And again, tomorrow is going to be a big day for it. Obviously, they're going to have some stimulus news or something. So we're going to have to see which way it can bounce because it can bounce off that bottom going up the yang, or it can come straight down and go into the basement, and that yin will run like crazy. And honestly, you'll just want to grab some of them because remember when it ran up the last time up to like $60, it's at 38. And if it's going to do it, it'll go from 38 to 60 probably again. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'm sure Laptop Travel will keep us posted. Let me see. We sure can. We'll go over CETX, no problem. And yeah, so Laptop Travel, just keep us posted on whatever's going on. In the light of the Trump election, China is charging forward to support their markets. And I'm just going to click on the article real quick in AP News 1 just to see what it says. China to unveil much anticipated economic stimulus. That's what economic stimulus package. I couldn't really think of it. So there you are. And they just announced that as Trump got in. So we'll see what these charts are looking like. And again, if the yin wants to run up like a maniac, we'll hop on it real fast. So I'm not that concerned. And if my yang does expire, I have one option on it, and I'll look at it and see. It wasn't even down that much today because I guess with the reverse split and it wasn't that off from where we bought, well, where I bought it from that bottom area. I know it was down there. Well, on here because of the split prices, it would have been like 47.80 would have been your low price, and right now it's at 60.63, and so we bought them. I know I bought it back around. I don't know if it was like a 68 or, but it was right there. I know it wasn't even that far off. So I was looking at it today and I said, wow, that thing definitely reversed course. What's going on here? And then somebody was talking about the stimulus package. And I said, yeah, that'll definitely change things real quick. So keep our eye on it. Like I said, if the yang doesn't bounce off there tomorrow, it's probably going to be dipping down and that yin will be running up. So definitely looking at them first thing in the morning, you know that. And we'll keep an update on them. And I was looking at them today, but it just was the yin was kind of pulling back. I was waiting to see if it would hit the bottom to get an ID, and it's just above it. So we're going to be able to tell something tomorrow. So definitely keep you updated on that one. And here's Wint, WINT. We've been looking at this. That 50's at 78. This is at 61. It's just running at the very, like in the basement, but just below the line right there. WINT. And I think it's going to start getting set up for next week. It has that look today, probably opened and closed on the same price pretty much. And I think it's starting to get set up, and I think it'll be a next week or so. We'll keep an eye on Wint, and we had looked at it before. It did run up that one day. Where'd it get up to? I forget. It got up to like $1.20 there. And then ever since that day, it had pulled back, and it pulled back probably lower than what we were looking at it at, because I think that was probably around the 65 cent area. And I remember it pretty much doubled, and now it's sitting at the 61 cent area, and we'll wait for that bad boy to get curled back up. Like I said, it looks like it's trying to set up. The 20's not too far off, so we'll keep us posted on that one as well. Keep you posted. LCID, remember this one just jumped out at me the other day on the scanner. They do have earnings tomorrow, and I was telling you I'm not a real big fan of earnings, but this one, it looks like it's coming out of the basement. It looks like yesterday was its bottom at 202, and it is running up. So keep an eye on this early in the morning or tomorrow at any point. I'm not sure when their earnings are, but they will be tomorrow at some point. And Lucid is looking really good right there to continue to run up. So watch that one. And again, I'm not a big fan of the earnings, but this one looks solid to come out of the basement and curl through. I'm pretty confident that that one's going to do it. So that is LCID, Lucid, DKNG. And here we go. This is why I'm not a big fan of earnings. Today was its earnings. It was sitting on that line. We went through it last night, as a matter of fact. And I told you I probably, where's my list? I meant to put it right here. There it is. I was looking at some of them. Did I do draft? I thought I did DraftKings. I don't see it on here real quick, but oh wait, hold on. I didn't even mark it down. But I said Penn was going to go up, so we'll look at that next. But yeah, this one, it was up today and then dipped down in the after hours. So it curled through, looked really good, but then it came down. I mean, they are just so hard to get a good grip on. It opened at 38.44 and it came down to 31.20 today, and now it's sitting at 36.69. So it's still lower than what it opened at, but I had a big dip. It was just pulled up and went flat right over the MACD. And I'm telling you, there are just some weird looks going on. But I think now it's going to be getting set up. So now I'll probably watch for that bottom and get in it. And again, we kind of can see it before and you can see it after. But once they hit them earnings days, it's tough. So just threw that on there. And again, it was setting up. So I'll keep an eye because it pulled back in the after hour. So we'll see how that opens up. And it may be a really nice setup right there. And it's exactly why I'm probably not going to mess with too many earnings unless, like I said, like Lucid looks great. and I'll check that out in the morning. And if it didn't already run, I'll take a look at it. But it's got to really be set up right there. IOVA. Let's look at this one because it has some weird looks as it hits that resistance line up at the top. And I don't know what's going on with this one today. Iovance Biotherapeutics reports Q3 loss tops revenue estimates, so that's interesting. And they had their quarter three results, obviously. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but it looks like it's going to be pretty good, and the earnings look pretty good as well. And I think it wants to get up there. And again, another tough look. Earnings today, and it came down in the after hours, $1.19, and just a super, super tough look right there. And I think Laptop Travel agrees because it is. I mean, I'm trying to get a better idea on mine. And yeah, it definitely pulled back. It's at 11:12 in them after hours. So it closed at what? Where did I just go? It closed at 12. It closed at, well, on here it did. In the regular market, it closed at about 12:28, and then in the after hours went down. So yeah, that one's again, these earnings are just super hard looks, even if the market is running kind of normal. So yeah, we'll look at that one. And Laptop Travel was looking at the call options on that one. China says Trump's forces its hand will retaliate against Trump against new U.S. trade tariffs, raising the risk that U.S. President Donald Trump could implement as soon as day one in office. So there you go. Thank you, Laptop Travel. And we kind of knew if we were saying if Trump wins, that they're going to do something. I didn't know what the heck they were going to do, which way it was going to go, or for their side anyway. We kind of knew Trump was winning. That wasn't even a question. But I had no idea how they were going to react or what would work for them and what wouldn't. And he was talking about tariffs this whole time. So yeah, we'll just play that one, and I'll tell you what the charts are looking like. So we'll keep an eye on that. GV, let's see if that one's gonna keep rolling. It's curling up really nice there. It actually is set up great. Visionary Holdings. I think that one looks pretty nice to keep going up. GV. Let me see this. See what it did in the after hours. I think you probably have another day out of it. It looks like it could get up into that $2 area. It is setting up right there at like that 205, and it is it's getting through that 20 is going to start curling it up. Even if it runs up to that 205 and it pulls back a hair, it's setting up pretty good to try to get off of that area, like right around that $2 area, 210, 205. So I have a feeling if it does, might not pop up tomorrow like crazy, but in the next few, like a week or so, you're going to see GV start to move. So I'll keep an eye on that, Eileen. Let's write it down. GV. It's looking good, I'm telling you. So that looks like it's going to set up, and I will keep an eye on that for you. And let's look at, we just did IOVA, and again, I'll look at that, had the earnings, and it's just a crazy look right there. And now you see why I don't want to torture us with all the earnings because they're just hard looks, and I'd rather nail them down when I'm confident that I can see them, and I clearly can't see them well for the earnings. Maybe other people can see them better than I can, but I just have a tough time. I don't know what the heck they're gonna do. So we'll play them when we can see them. But Square, another one, had the earnings today. We were looking at it last night. Where did I put it? I just have the piece of paper in my hand. Oh well, who cares? Who cares what I said about it? Doesn't even matter. Pulled back and it went down today and in the after hours. It was up there hitting that top. And again, I probably was like, I don't know what it's gonna do because you just really can't tell. It's the craziest look. But now you can. Now let it pull back to that 20 and it's gonna set back up. I mean, now it's really easy, but up until that, I had no idea. So I'm confident that we're not doing earnings ever trading them options just because they give me the weirdest look. And like I said, now I know exactly what it's gonna do. I knew what it was gonna do before it hit the earnings, and I know what it's gonna do after. So we don't have to reiterate that 100 times, but it's just fascinating to me that I never really realized that before. And I was thinking about it because some of these earnings that you would play, some of the big caps are usually where they were at. um, I traded them on stocks every once in a while, but I think everybody knows when you're buying straight stocks and you're trying to buy Apple, $200 and something dollars a share, how much are you really buying? You know what I mean? It depends what your account's like, but just to give you an average, when you buying 5 shares, it's over $1,000 right there. So, and then even if it goes up, $10, $15, what did you really make? At the end of the day, to fork out over $1,000 for 5 shares to go up a couple bucks. And so it's I get that, and that's why I would stick with the penny ones and the cheaper ones because they were volatile. I could see them, and you'd hit 100% poppers. But with options, obviously, penny stocks don't even give you options, and I understand the reason why because it moves so fast, you just wouldn't even be able to do it. It would be insane. And so yeah, but with the options, it's just like, hey, you just you pick these ones that you're pretty confident in, and you just run them up the right way, and boom. And again, you're getting 100 shares per option, and from some of these big caps, like I said, like an Apple today, I think was like two something for an option for like 3 weeks out. So you get an option. So I got 100 shares of Apple. What is it at right now? Let's look. I know it's at 227. So pretty much this morning, I was looking at it. It was around like 224-ish because I know it's already up. And 225. I grabbed an option for, I think I got it for 228. Is it what the strike price is? I'll have to go back and look. I just don't remember. It's right there. It was like right past it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a piece of cake. Maybe it's 230. I don't remember. I'll look and I'll write it down and I'll tell you. But I mean, it should pass it tomorrow. And like I said, I bought it 3 weeks out, and it's setting up super bullish right off of that 233. So I'm like, well, that thing's gonna get up there and really roll off, and it'll happen in the next 3 weeks. So boom, there you go. I'm pretty confident with that one. And like I said, they were only like two something an option, and there's 100 shares leveraged. And so for $100, I could have bought, or 227, I could have bought 1 share, or I could have bought 100, but I have an expiration date as opposed to 1 share not. But again, I'm confident enough that that thing's going to pop up and hit it. And unless it dips down dramatically, which I don't see it happening, I should be pretty safe. So that's what I was looking at. And there you go. And yeah, and like I was saying yesterday, Apple's bottom was probably 219 on November 4th, and then it went up a little bit, had that weird look, jumped up today, and it looks like it wants to crawl through from here, and it's setting up super bullish up there. So I think it's going to move in the next 3 weeks. So I have a feeling that one should pop up. We'll take a look at it every day as we usually do, but that's what I was looking at. And boom. And there was a couple other big caps that were looking great. We'll go through them, but I just kind of got sidetracked there and just saying, like, you buy one option, you get 100 shares as opposed to buying 1 share. It was probably around the same price, to be completely honest with you. And I got the leverage and all that good stuff. So that I'm just trying to explain the differences why. And again, I probably to buy Apple shares at 227, you're buying 5 of them, you're well over $1,000 right there for 5 shares. And what's it going to go up? Like, $3 or $4? Is it really worth it? But with an option, it is. Honestly, is worth that. Putting that $200 out to get that 100 shares and have it go up a couple bucks. Believe me, it's worth it. And so that's the difference right there. And the reason why I never really looked at earnings or I always looked at big caps, but never really trade them hardcore because they're more of an options play. I mean, unless your account rolls huge and you're just, you're throwing major bankroll into things. And again, you'll probably just leverage it anyway because you'll get way bigger profits. So it makes way more sense. I get it. And just trying to pass that uh, you know, what I've learned off to you guys so you guys understand. Because again, I've been doing this a long time. People have explained options to me, and I'm not a financial guy. I'm self-taught everything. So I just know how to read these stock charts because it's been a hobby for so long. And so, like I explained, learn how to trade smart's the most important thing. I did get good at at the penny stocks. They don't run the same way anymore. They're just difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like you see, unless you're up at 4 a.m. on Web Bull, you're not even maximizing them bad boys. So it's not even worth it, to be completely honest with you. And so yeah, you just kind of you look different ways. You're constantly, just moving with trends and seeing what you can do, and you have to pivot to always stay ahead. And, I've always heard this, and I'm like, well, we got to figure this out because this is going to be the way to do it. And it is definitely the way to do it. And now I get it. Like I said, I talked to some hedge fund guys, and they've told me for a long years, probably the last 5 years, they've told me, yo, you got to get into options and futures. And I'm like, all right, well, someone teach me how to do this because I have no idea. And again, it seemed very confusing. I'd read a couple books, watched videos, and it just every time I watched something or read something, it always seemed more confusing. And that's why I'm gonna just make it real simple so you guys can understand it. And I've tried to explain it as simple as possible, but I'll definitely put a video. I think I'm good now and I can understand it enough where I can pass along the information that I know anyway. And of course, we'll tweak it as we learn more, but I'll show you the basics that I've been doing. And like I said, it's been working pretty well. Not, I just been experimenting and it's been doing great. So let's get back to our list right there. And so speaking up with the trends, don't forget 22-hour. Oh, thank you, dude. Our 22-hour markets are coming. Let me write that down. And also, let me write my three columns. I had it on my other sheet and I saw it and I didn't forget yet, but I'll also put something together about that, about the trading bots. So I'll throw something together right there for you so you guys can see that as well and get an idea of what that looks like because they are, oh my goodness, you want to talk about going wild. Wow. They went wild, that's for sure. And so yeah, we'll definitely have to take a look at them bad boys and see how they're and I'll show you guys. So but that will increase the hours in which options can be traded. Now limited to not yet. You see, you can't trade options in the pre-market either. That you have to wait until regular hours. And again, these hedge fund guys just don't get up in the morning. They're not on at 7 a.m. or 4 a.m. They could care less about it because they're not trading that stuff. And that's why I say that Web Bull's been wild. I was explaining it to some of them, they didn't even know. I was showing them and they were like, what the hell is going on at 4 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, it must be like the overseas markets really pumping in. And then obviously the US markets, people in the US get up early, but it's just a combination. But yeah, it'll increase the hours. So that'll be nice for options because again, they're limited. So at 9, you have to wait until to the regular trading hours for options. And if they pop up big time in the pre-markets or anything, which I mean, these big caps, they do, but it's not like they dip down like the penny ones real fast, but they usually sustain themselves until at least the market opens. And then that's when you'll see them dip because people start selling options. So that's why you see your big caps not really get crazy in the morning and you see all the penny stocks get real crazy. It's them two different worlds. So that's uh that's basically how it runs. And pre-market's best for the European traders as well. Yeah, they love it. I'm telling you, it's crazy over there in the overseas markets. They absolutely love these markets. Same thing with crypto, right around 10 p.m., right around in like a half hour or an hour from now you can see it just starts kicking up because the overseas markets start kicking in because it's their daytime. It's a whole new day over there, and we're basically going to bed, and they're just getting fired up. So I trade the crypto at night sometimes. At like 11 o'clock, it's beautiful. It's just like almost like a pre-market to me. Things just start setting up. I can sit there and look at the charts real easy, and them things move super fast. And crypto is really easy to trade on Coinbase. I mean, it's way easier, I think, than buying stocks and options, to be honest. You literally just well, I trade them through my bots too, which make it real easy, but Coinbase is super easy too. I mean, you literally just put the coin how much you want and hit buy or sell. I mean, it's so easy. Stocks are obviously and options are easy, but it's a little more, I think, involved with pushing the buttons. I know Robinhood just made it. I think Robinhood just kind of made the stock market how crypto is, to be honest. That was that big rollout. I never looked at it and I signed up. So I'll check that out because it's like a real fast trading action that they made. And in my mind, when I heard that, I was like, they're adapting to what crypto can do. And the crypto markets, yeah, laptop travel agrees. So I really think so. And honestly, it is. It's just so fast with crypto. And I'm telling Solana's over $200 right now. It's wild. Here, want to go? Let's go through it. We're talking about. Let's do it. Crypto's insane, guys. Um, Bitcoin's at 75,776, and it's going up. I mean, it is hitting that top area at that 70, so I would be careful. I mean, it's at an all-time high right now. It just went ape. It went ballistic. Solana was up at 200. It was over. It's at 197 right now. And this one just curled through, but it did get to that 70. So I could see it trying to get up a little bit more and pulling back a hair. But again, these things are going to be setting up to make bases and they're going to be ripping. So Ripple, speaking of which, is at 55. And that one got through. That one went right off the 100 and just kept rolling. So that one's going to keep going up. It's not even at the 70 yet. And Cardano's at 41 finally. And yeah, that one finally got back over to 100 and that one's cruising. So maybe we'll see Cardano get back into like the high 40s, maybe over to 50 again. So that would be nice. Doge is at 19 and that one, I mean it went way over 20 and I mean it's at the 70. I think they pull back just a hair and just keep running up is what they look like. I mean, they went just ballistic. And WIF, that's our new one for laptop travel. And what's that one look like? Because I'm telling you, that one's trying to set up. It's about to hit the line. I'm just curious if it's getting through. It looks like it should, but then it just gives you a look like you're not exactly sure. So I'm gonna have to look at it. But I'm telling you, this thing's a really good one. Right below $2 right now. You're sitting at 239. I'll look at the price on mine, but right under $2. That thing's like a really good one. That one should run. I'm gonna have to look into that and ask my buddies about that are way into crypto. I mean, they know like every single coin, what they do. Actually, apparently, hold on, let me tell you something. Actually, my one buddy just said, as a matter of fact, we were just, what did he just tell me? Oh, here you go. He just said Coinbase just announced that it is now trading Bitcoin on its exchange using the Solana network. It's called CBBTC, and now everyone will be trading Bitcoin on that network because it's so much cheaper. So that could make Solana's price really rip too. So he was just telling me about that, and here we go. Oh, that's Dog Wife. Uh, Whatever it is, Whiff Hat or whatever that Whiff USD dog Whiff Hat. Yeah, I know, but I've heard that one. I didn't realize that was what that is. So I know Laptop Travel's wife is into that one, so we're gonna keep our eye on it. Like I said, that one is getting set up there and looks really good, and we're gonna keep our eye on it. And let's just look at our sheep real quick because that was just it says it's pulling back a little bit, but I know it had run up there. Yeah, it's just like making a base, but I'm telling you, Sheep's getting ready to rock and roll, guys. So if you want to get in one that hasn't really run up yet, you can look at Sheep and what else? Bonk. I was trying to think of what is the other one I always type in. I'm like, what else do I put in here? Bonk as well. That one is just crossing through too. So it's hitting the 100, and I have a feeling it's just going to base out right there, maybe for a hair, not very long, and get through. So yeah, you're seeing these bad boys setting up and going nuts. So you're going to see crypto again. This is supposed to be a bull market, and you can see this thing run until like next October. So it's just kicking off, guys. So if you're not in it yet, like I've said before, and I've said it since the summer, make yourself a Coinbase account and set that bad boy up because it's going to get nutty, and we're going to be trading these things just as much as, if not more. Like I said, it seems a little easier. It's way faster, and you can do it 24/7, 365. I mean, you can trade on Christmas morning if you really want to. The volume's not that crazy, but I've looked at it, and there's people trading. So again, you got overseas markets and everybody. It's just wild stuff. And we'll get way into that So I'll make sure I break that down, the options, and I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to get done this weekend for here. So that's what I'm gonna focus on tomorrow and this weekend, trying to get all that stuff done and boom, because we're gonna be getting ready to rock and roll. So here we go. Speaking of rocking and rolling, let's get right through. Yeah, Sheeb Obi grows. That one looks great. I'm telling you. So keep an eye on that bad boy. We'll look at that one in the morning and see where it's at, or even at the end of the show, I'll go over it again because that one's like the one that almost doesn't look like it's setting up and didn't really blast off. The rest of them have been running up pretty well, especially like Doge and stuff. So we'll look at it real quick. Let's go back to the list and see where we were at. We went from SQ on options all the way over to there. That was pretty nice little U-turn, but we'll get back on focus and we'll knock through these real quick. S dot, here we go. This one was setting up. Remember, we've been talking about it, and honestly, guys, this is and I'm getting kind of excited because these things are kind of crossing through and crawling up like they're supposed to. We haven't seen this in I've you know what I say. We haven't seen it in this whole last administration, and this one just did it. And if it gets over that 20 and keeps crawling up, I'm gonna be so excited to see this happen because we are just gonna destroy everything. I mean, you're just not even gonna understand how easy it's gonna be. So S dot looking great, and I am definitely keeping my eye on it to see what it wants to do because it looks like it wants to do that and keep running. And obviously, I can't base the whole market off of S stop, but if they start doing it, obviously that's what I'm looking for. And I was explaining this before to you guys before, but this one jumped right out at me immediately. I went, "Whoa, this is starting to happen. This would be incredible." So we will check it out and see. And again, S dot looks like it's rolling up there and it should keep moving. So definitely keeping my eye on that to make sure. And it'll be exciting if they all start doing it. Holo, this one started curling up today. I meant to post it. And another one, I'm telling you, tomorrow, if it crosses through, it's going to run up here to like 387. So another one that has that look, it's based out there. And I mean, these things haven't done this. Uh, they haven't done it in a long time. Let's put it that way. Where they're curling upright and really getting moving the right direction, like they're supposed to, right off that bottom, looking good. It looks like the market's trying to get back to its normal self, and I just tell you the way I see it. And remember, I told you a couple weeks ago it was making that like you could see it already transform. I knew it weeks ago because you could see the market already like it was already making that transformation. Remember, I told you it was really hard to see everything, and you could see what was going on. I said it every single night for about 2 weeks there before the election even happened, and here you go. Now they're actually trying to get back to normal. So it's amazing. Like it's kind of fascinating to see it all, especially since like the Trump assassination, and we do the show every single day except for the weekends, obviously, but we don't need to. And to just run through everything, see it set up like that, say like, hey, there's something's going to happen in this country. It's going to be under attack. And then to see right then and there the assassination attempt and everything else. And again, I explained what was going to happen with the banking system. That's why all that glitchy stuff happened like 2 days later. It was already shut down. It was already set up to shut down that Saturday night. And I promise you, I could see it on the charts. Remember, a month before that, I kept saying there's something wild going on in this banking system. And then it just kind of sizzled out when the assassination attempt didn't go through. I went through it all before, so we don't have to do all that, but just fascinating how these charts were just not running the right way. And now all of a sudden you just seen them kind of transform back to get to a normal. And now they look like they're trying to get to a normal chart. And again, I've been looking at these things for over 20 years. So a lot of different presidencies, that's for sure. And of course, in my beginning, I wasn't like really good at it, but I was just looking at things. But I would say in the last 10 years, I've been pretty damn good. But I've gone back and look at charts and, And yeah, I've never seen what we just saw in the last 4 years of my life. I don't know if it ever happened before that, because the chart technology really wasn't that great before either. I'm not gonna lie. We're in an age where like we have everything at our fingertips. I mean, with all the platforms, it's a crazy golden age. I mean, you gotta capitalize on these things, and we just have the technology and everything. I mean, before laptop travel, he knows he probably had to call into. He's laughing, he had to call into a broker before, and it probably felt like yesterday to him, because this stuff is all new. um for many years you were just like calling into a broker and making stock trades and stuff, and then finally obviously the internet came out and E-Trade and these big platforms, and people got comfortable with it, and they got passed through the SEC and everything else, and then it made it much easier. But literally, like, entire times, these people were like calling guys and saying, "Yo, I need 10 shares of Apple." And they're, it was just crazy. It was a whole different world. And now it is a entirely different planet. And like I said, they didn't even have the chart setups like they did back. I went and tried to look during when the Trump assassination went. That's why I said, I almost promise you, if they had these kind of charts back then, I probably would have been able to tell the JFK assassination would have been set up the same way. So, um, but yeah, we have this technology now, and obviously with the charts and the platforms and the smartphones, and you got to take advantage of it. It's just a whole different wild world. So yeah, that's if these things get back to a normal chart running, which like I said, in all these different administrations throughout the years, I never saw what was going on in the last 4 years. And that's why I said no one could possibly be running the country, because certain things have to happen at certain times. I could tell what goes on. I think you guys that listen to the show know that I kind of see the charts pretty well, and I understand how everything can kind of operate. And yeah, I just love to do it. So I just tell you what I see, and I enjoy it, and I like way into it. So it's like a hobby for me, honestly. And yeah, it's just one of them things that just jumps out at me sometimes. Just like, how how the assassination attempt was setting up. I was saying like, yo, these aerospace and defense, they're just jumping out. Something's gonna happen. And in the presidency, I mean, you could just tell 3 months ago. It wasn't, I kept saying, guys, the charts are just there set up. There was no way they could have been set up that way for her to get in office. You want to know why? They weren't set up like that for 4 years. So you could see what was about to happen. And that's why I knew it was as clear as day. And they never, ever one time changed. And for them to not think that anything differently, it's like, how? Because all the money must have really known, because the charts were set up for him to win. And yeah, there was just never a question. I never once hesitated in over 3 months, and everybody I crossed paths with, I told them it should be the biggest landslide in our country's history, and I said it as confident as could be, and every single person looked at me like I was insane. I promise you, it's hilarious. And yeah, and it played out, and that's why yesterday I felt like I won an election, because everybody hit me up like, I don't know how you knew that, dude. You were the only person that really thought that, said it, and were confident about it, and everybody else thought it was going to be close, and it was obviously not even close. I mean, it wasn't even in this galaxy. It was a clean sweep. It wasn't. She literally got swept on everything. So there you go. Now let's roll through our list real quick. And Holo, like I said, let's see if another one. I was just excited because I saw it earlier and it was curling up and it looks great. I think it might pop off here. So, and if this is the case, like I said, we're just going to be finding every single runner. Boom, boom, boom. There's just going to be too many of them. I'm not going to lie, which is a beautiful problem, because then again, you pick the best ones and you just trade them smart. Maybe you trade one or two that because there's just so many good ones. And but again, you're talking about good problems that we haven't seen in 4 years. So I'm telling you, it looks like it's going to get back to it, and that's why I've been excited for the last couple weeks, and especially for the last few days. You can tell I've been like, holy cow, because it's more or less these charts. I can tell what's about to happen. I've been telling you, take my word for it. Be patient because watch what's about to happen. And if we have 4 years of this trading smart, I almost promise if you listen to the show and start really trading them smart, you probably won't keep your job. I can promise you that. So just listen to what I'm telling you. And and like I said, do it slow. Make sure you're trading smart. You know what you're doing because that's what it's all about. And yeah, you can see once you start compounding them. And again, I'm just doing like experimental stuff and watching it compound and going, Jesus God, like if I really started like putting money on these things like I traded before and have done many times, I can see why all these dudes and hedge funds were like, dude, this is what you got to be doing. It's like it's crazy. It's just like I keep telling you, you don't realize the percentages. And again, I hit 100 percenters all the time, and I'm looking at these percentages like real fast too, and real easy. It's not like I have to like scan 1,000 charts and do this. I mean, this is like watching grass grow for them, and especially if these charts get real easy, it's going to be amazing, guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. So let's roll through. And like I said, it looks like the charts are trying to get back to normal, just like we thought. And we'll see if that happens. And it would be great. Logic Mark was running up today. It was up. I know it got up to what 14.5 cents. It's back to 11. Their earnings are coming up and they're on November 12th, so they would be next Tuesday. And this one, another one rolling off. I mean, we would see this look where it rolls off and looks good. So I wasn't, it, but again, they're just you can tell the charts are moving a little more smoothly than they did before. And it's only been one day since he won the election. I mean, it's yeah, but again, they were setting up like this for 2, 3 weeks because they were already like in that transformation period where they knew the minute he won, they were like, all right, we can kind of start getting back to normal. I didn't think they would start trying to do it that quick. I'm telling you, everything is just like it's like Christmas for everything, it seems like. And again, there was no shot in hell for her to win. So I guess everybody that I think a lot of people realize that watch the mainstream media, they either have to realize that, you're either getting brainwashed by nonsense, they lie to you, or you're just going to continue to watch it and just, never see the correct side of things. I don't get it, but I mean, that's the only two really outcomes, really. I mean, you either see it now because it's as clear as day what was going on, or you just never see it. And I guess that's people's lives. And again, I don't care what people choose, whatever. I always wish everybody the best. And, but again, you got to make wise choices in life. And it's like I say, you don't make political choices or like big choices like this. You don't make off of emotions and because you got to be stuck to a party. It's like the dumbest mindset ever. And they'll be like, oh, I have to vote one way. No, you got to vote for the best person that's going to take care of, you and the country. That's what you got to think about. And so RVSN told you this railroad was going to start moving. I posted it, and that one crawled up 46 to 53. It didn't go up a little bit higher, or maybe not. 44 to 54, right around there. But it looks like it wants to keep moving too. And it made that hard crawl up. I think I posted it yesterday and said that the railroad was going to get moving. And boom, that one's getting moving again. CNET, let's look at it. That was up 14 cents. I know we were looking at this before, but again, another one that just curled up beautifully. RSI, MACD. It tried to actually back here. Look on what day? October 29th, and it couldn't do it. And I'm telling you, it just smoothly did it. Like it was just like, oh yeah, let's just roll like the chart's supposed to, right up to the 20. Like it was no big deal, and probably keep the momentum. So keep an eye on CNET because it does look like it wants to keep that momentum. And also RVSN did too. Holo did too. I'm telling you, almost all of them do. They're curling up and just looking great right now. When did I say this in the last since I've been doing the show? Oh yeah, they crawled up, they crossed through the MACD, and they look amazing. Have you heard me say that ever? And since we've been doing the show, no, it just hasn't happened. And yeah, now they look it, and this is what they're supposed to look like. I know I was talking about it before, and it's getting exciting. So OCGN. That one does have earnings tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, the 8th. Didn't I write it down? I did. I wrote it down. That's great. But yeah, has earnings. I forgot. Yeah, has earnings tomorrow, and it curled up. I mean, I'd have to take a guess because it's the earnings, and I telling you, as long as I pick the other way, it usually goes at the. It's like opposite what I say. It looks like it wants to keep the momentum tomorrow and keep cruising up. That 20's rolling up, but just be careful because it's earnings and I can't really tell. So, but it did run up. Remember, I threw it on the list the other day. It was curling up. And even if it pulls back, the thing's setting up to blast off. I think it's going to get in the 120s pretty soon and maybe even higher. So I'm not sure what they got going on. OCGN secured a $30 million in debt funding today. So there you go. That's what they did today. And, yeah, I forget. Oh, they do like a gene therapy or something. So they also had something like a COVID vaccine back during COVID. I think everybody tried one of them. But anyway, that's OCGN. It is popped up from where we were looking at it, and it's running up a little bit. So just watch that momentum on the earnings. But like I said, be careful because of the earnings. How about LGHL, the good old lion? Looks like that one. And another one just made that hard curl up. And honestly, before, and this was the difference, and I saw this earlier, and it kind of I was like, wow, that's impressive. Before, when they made this hard curl up like this is where they popped, and they couldn't stop themselves because it wasn't normal, so they would run like through the roof. And now this one actually kind of stopped itself at the 50, got through the 20. I could see it just kind of rolling right back through the MACD tomorrow, continue its momentum. If it does it, the Lion, I'm telling you, they're getting back to normal because there's no way in hell it would have done this even a week ago. It would have been impossible for it to do it. So I'm just telling you what's going on and what the charts look like. And like I was telling you for like 2, 3 weeks, they were trying to you could see the transformation happening there, and that's why they were all goofy for a while. And like I was saying, I'll pull up the things. I remember saying it like almost every single night there, and because they were throwing me off, and I'm like, the only thing it can be is they're making a transformation to get to his presidency, because I'm telling you, they were set up so bullish, and there would have been no way in hell that they were set up like that if she was going to win. I just can promise you it would have never happened. So anyway, LGHL, again, looking at it tomorrow, another one, but keep an eye on it because it is set up and looking good. And yeah, it's getting kind of exciting. APLD, I know we looked at this before. Definitely should have looked at it the other day, and I know I did because it's on my watch list that I check out. It got down to the five under $6, and that was a beautiful spot. I'm not gonna lie, at 597. 596. It was really good on that support line down there. And now it's at like 780, but that one's about to get curled up. It is curling up. I mean, it's about to cross through like it's supposed to and run up there. And I mean, this thing might run right past the $9 spot. So keep your eye on APLD. That's Applied Digital Corporation. And I know they mess around with Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure, or crypto or something. But I posted this one before. I told you I was trading this thing when it was, because I think this one ran like way up there. When was it? I forget, but I'm pretty sure it ran way up at one point. Maybe not. Maybe it was a different one, but I know I traded this one for a long time too, and there was another one that I was in super early that ran up like big time, and it was another one that deals with crypto. I thought it was this one. It might have been. I don't remember, but yeah, I've known this one for a long time, a couple years now. IXHL. This is another one. Got it in the top and just kind of made that base down here, and it looks like it wants to roll off of there. So keep your eye on this thing because I don't know what they have going on. they changed the medical. I think we looked down there before, and I know it was up the other day to like what 273, and now it's at 242. But yeah, if this thing gets rolled off that MACD, this thing's gonna get really cruising, guys, and I think it's going to. It looks like it wants to. I'm not gonna say it definitely does, but I'm pretty confident it's rolling off of there. So I would watch for this bad boy to roll off of there and get moving. So I think IXHL wants to run. So keep your eye on that right there. GNPX, we looked at it last night because it was on a laptop travel list and it looked pretty good. It was just kind of pulling back and trying to flatten out. I mean, it went up 14 cents. It was nothing crazy there. Opened at 160, went to 179, and we were looking at it and we said, could it stop on that 20? I remember saying it, and it did. It stuck itself on that 20, and I have a feeling you're going to see it try to curl right back up, make a base here, curl up, and get moving. So another one that you just want to seen this happen before. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm more curious, and I picked out a few that I like the setups and that we've been looking at and had potential, but just kind of wanted to break them down, look at them because they were grabbing my attention earlier. I was obviously looking at the market and everything. And again, keep my eye on certain things to see if these patterns are changing because as you know, if I pick up on that pattern, it's amazing. And I told you guys I finally picked up on the stupid pattern after like 3.5 years. And I told you once I figured it out, it was gonna stop, but I would have been fine with it. If it changed back to this is what I was talking about. So I know I mentioned that before, and this is what exactly what I was talking about. So I don't mind that other pattern, can kind of just disappear or whatever. If it gets back to the normal charts, we're money, especially knowing the options and trading smart. Oh man, it'll be so much better than it ever was, and it was pretty damn good before, I can promise you. So MAXN. That one's trying to bounce back up. Seems like it wants to roll back off again. And honestly, again, these things are keeping momentum where they just didn't before. And I think MAXN is going to get higher than that 1266. It's in the nines right now. And that 20 and 50 are coming out. I'm telling you, it's going to run. So keep your eye on that MAXN. It looks really, really good. So I would watch that thing tomorrow and even into next week because that thing is setting up right there and wants to move. BLSK, we were just looking at it the other day, right? Isn't that what it is? What is it? BSLK? Yeah, BSLK. What did I write? I wrote BLSK. It's BSLK. BSLK. Bolt projects. This was up a penny today, and again, it's at like 30 cents, but it's curling up there. I think yesterday was its bottom. We were just looking at it, and I think this one's going to try to get curled out. And remember, before these things had to wait for that 20 to come down for it, and now I think you're actually going to see them get back to normal where they don't necessarily need that 20. Now that may be their resistance line, and that's perfectly fine because then they can, meet that spot and then jump up on it and make it a support. That's what they're kind of supposed to do. We had to wait for 20s to come down, and like I said, they were crossed through the MACD just running like you'd never seen them before, and on the chart, and then they would just be dipping back. And that's just not a normal look. They should. I explained it 100 times, but they're supposed to just run up, pull back, do their thing, and you move on to your next one. These things were just dragging out. It was ABVE that really kind of pointed it out to me that day. And ever since, we've been pretty much on fire with them. And again, now we're going to even be on more on fire because it's going to go back to normal where I love it. So that's BSLK. And again, that one's setting up and looking good. I have a feeling that's going to get crawled out of the basement. So keep an eye on that to run as well. Where did I put? Oh, I had to scribble out the other one. VCIG. Let's see. That one recently just split. Was it the other day? The 5th. So that was on Tuesday. This thing split and then it pulled back. What did it do today? The 7th. It was up 16 cents. Let me see. VCIG. This one's gonna get moving now. Remember that split pullback, and now it's gonna get moving. So keep your eye on VCIG. That's one that we had looked at a long time ago, and again, it's split right there. And I think we're gonna come right out of the basement tomorrow and pop up there. I'm telling you, these things haven't looked like this in a long time. It's amazing. It's exciting. I was excited today. I'm telling you, I've been walking around like the list. Obviously, I didn't sleep much the night of the election because I was just up for a while. And then it's just like yesterday, I felt like I won it because so many people contacted me because of how accurately I called it. And no one could believe it. And then today, it's like the charts. I was so excited that the charts started to actually get. I'm like on an adrenaline rush for like 3 days. I feel like, and I didn't even do anything. I'm just sitting at my house, not even doing anything. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, it's kind of wild, but again, it's exciting to see these things do this. So CNEY, I think it's going to try to get curled up. I want to see what it wants to do. Another one. Again, there was a ton of them, but I was going through the list and just kind of picked out some random ones here and there, and other ones where the charts are really getting set up. So this one, I think, is trying to make a base down here, gonna curl up like it's supposed to. And again, the 20 and 50 are kind of meeting up here, but I don't even think they matter right now. It's just gonna do its right thing, and then these things will act like they should, kind of hit them as support and resistant lines, and just kind of show you where it's supposed to go. And yeah, when the 20 gets under it, of course, they like to run up higher. That's a look, that, but that's not the end all be all that it had to be before. We knew if that 20 was up on it and there wasn't a hard line coming down, it wasn't running. And I mean, we knew it. CETX, let's look at it because someone wanted me to look at it. That's exactly an example, but now it might actually start moving because these things want to do it without having it. It popped up today, right there. There you go. 19 to 22, which is a pretty decent little run, I think, on it. But it's nothing crazy, but again, it's just kind of has that look where the 20's all the way up here at 30 cents, and this is the 19. It was kind of running away from it, dipping down, and it kind of looks like it wants to start getting curled up. I could see it next week, possibly basing out here, yesterday being its bottom, kind of just making a little base and getting up there and really getting moving out of the basement, like actually curling up like it's supposed to and moving up like it's supposed to and actually running. And so yeah, we'll keep an eye on CETX. I think it was already on the list somewhere or somebody wanted me to look at it, but I just knew that one off a hand. And yeah, I'm honestly excited to see this, and I think that they're gonna start moving again like they should. And I can't express. I know I said it 100 times, but it's gonna be amazing. I'm telling you how fun it's gonna be. And like I said, your heads are gonna explode when you start seeing how many of them you can run through, and just call them that accurately, and not even care if you hit the bottoms and tops because it's just like ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, and they're all just great runners. And especially with these options, I mean, you catch these things and they're running up like $5, $10 in a day, and you just catch it at the right spot. Oh man, and the right amount of expiration. Like I said, even if you're 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and you're playing it safe, even a month, you're making way more than you're making if you're trading stocks. I promise you, unless you're hitting these 100 percenters and trading them smart and really dumping some money in it. I mean, and like literally putting like a couple grand into them. So, yeah, that's the big difference. So I'm telling you, it'll get crazy. And we can hit them both. We can hit them both. And even if the market, like I said, it's going to set up and run, and then it's going to have a pullback period because they're going to cut a bunch of shit out, all the nonsense spending and all that shit. Watch when Elon gets in there; it's going to be crazy. You're going to see this place. The country's going to run like it's never run before. I'm telling you, you can see it already happening, and but we will experience some pullback, and that's perfectly fine. It's going to need it because the market's just been way over manipulated anyway, and just been pumped money for just crazy. I mean, it's just insane. So even and I'm kind of not excited for that, but I'm excited for this because at that same time that now we know how to trade options smart. If the charts are pulling back right there, you just buy the put instead of buying your call option. You just buy your put and say, oh, it's going from 35 to 33 now, so I'll buy it and I'll buy 35 to 34 and know it's going to 33 and watch. And honestly, they drop down. It's way easier. I see why these guys short these things now in these groups because it's so easy. I mean, when they get in the top, you can always tell when it's coming down. It's much easier than pick the ones that are going up. They have to be perfect, especially in this last administration. You can tell because I basically told you it had to be every indicator. And even when they were all perfect, sometimes they still didn't run. So when they get in that top right there, they're just as soon as they come back through, they're generally free falling down. So it's pretty easy to go, oh yeah, that'll drop down a couple bucks. So here, and but yeah, I'm totally confident with doing that as well. And so if the market does pull back, it doesn't matter if it's running up or down or sideways or backwards. We can nail it every which way and just play it smart. So that's what I'm looking at. And it's looking pretty exciting, like these charts, like TTOO, another one. They have their earnings coming up next week on the 14th. Yeah, next Thursday, but looks like it has that look yesterday. I mean, they announced the presidency, and these things were like, oh, I can bottom out and start to curl up normal. That's exactly what this thing looks like to me. And it didn't look like it wanted to bottom out, but yesterday it finally did. And now it looks normal, like it wants to curl out of the basement. Not yet, but just start curling up, curl through the MACD, finally get out of the basement, and probably run up to that 114 area. So, I would look for TTO, and I mean, it's just endless amounts of them looking decent like this. Um, SCLX, another one right here. I was checking it out today. This one kind of ran up yesterday, the last few days, and then pulled back. But I'll tell you what, you're 20 and 50, you're meeting up right there. And I think you're going to get a major bounce, possibly even tomorrow on it. So SCLX, and I know Laptop Travel was looking at this one, and he did. It went from 113 to 118 down to 89. It's at 97, but it's not looking terrible. It just looks like it had that run up, pull back, dip and rip look. You're 20 and 50 are meeting up there, and it's been doing this honestly. When you look at it, it jumped out at me because I know you sent me the chart, and I looked at it for 2 seconds and went, yeah, just kind of stair stepping back there without looking at the whole thing quick, just from looking at the previous and then where it's positioned and everything going on. It looks pretty safe, I would say. So I'll definitely look at that in the morning for you guys and see how it looks. And what is today? Today's the 7th. So they filed. I know you said they did something yesterday. What the heck did I just hit? Holy cow. I don't even know what I just did. I must have just hit like the Windows button or something. I think I did that before and the whole screens went blank. That was pretty wild. Anyway, I just hit the button again and it came back. So I think it was the window. I'll keep my hand off of that button. But I was going to try to write this down. SCLX. Here we go. SCLX. I'll definitely look at that in the morning. But yeah, I think that's going to and if it doesn't bounce tomorrow, I think you got to set up for next week. So as long as you're good for that, you should see a bounce off of there. So we'll keep our eye on SCLX DXYZ. This one ran up today. It ran up yesterday and then ran up a lot today. It ran from 2167 to 2788, but two on the fifth right there, it was down at $11. So it basically doubled in 2 days. It's in the top right there. It's called Destiny Tech 100 Inc. And we are going to keep our eye on it. I think it's fairly new, maybe not. Yeah, it's fairly new. It opened up, it looks like on March 26th was its first day. And apparently they have some big things going on. And we are definitely going to keep our eye on this bad boy. A couple people actually said it was funny. I got two messages, actually, two Laptop Travel and Luis Rodriguez, both of you guys. I mean, literally within minutes apart. It was hilarious. I was like, That's pretty wild. Both of you sent me this one literally within like 5 minutes of each other. I was like, that's pretty crazy. This one must be good. And both of you kind of said the exact same thing too. I was not exactly, but similar. They have some big investors going on in this thing. So yeah, we're gonna keep our eye. It ran up to the top, but it's definitely looking like one of them ones that you can see it already. Something big's about to happen on this thing. So and in the beginning of the year, it was up to like $105 on April 8th. It ran from 64 to 105 there. So let's see, laptop trial. I don't remember. Oh, there you go. They have has ownership in SpaceX, which is a private company, obviously that Elon owns SpaceX. So they have ownership in that DXYZ. So this one I'm telling, and you can already see it. It's gonna let it pull back and let it get set up, but it's probably gonna pull back in here into like the 15 area, more than likely, I would think. And then, yeah, you're going to see it go from like 15 back up to like 70, 50, 70. It's going to move. So, it's what is laptops? I tried to read it real quick. Um, what do you say real fast? It's the only way a public investor can get access to SpaceX. So if you want to invest in SpaceX, that's basically the only way you could do it. And so yeah, we're definitely keeping our eye on that bad boy. But like I said, it's up at the top, and we'll watch it pull back there. So and then we're definitely going to keep it on the list. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write it right here under space. So I add it. And we're just gonna keep our eye on it for the right time because I'm telling you, it's coming from down here and it's running major. I want it at the bottom, and I'm getting options on this bad boy. I'll assume that there's an options chain on this thing because it's in the 20s and it's an ETF too. Oh my, I didn't realize it was an ETF. Oh yeah. Oh, this thing's gonna be great. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be getting into this thing. So DXYZ, great call by Laptop Travel and Luis Rodriguez. So we're keeping our eye on that bad boy for the right price, I promise you. XPON, this one is starting to set up, and I think it is looking good. You even have the 20 hooking up there, and it just has that look like it wants to get moving there. So XPON, I'm going to keep my eye on that. No options on DXYZ, so I guess we're going to have to just buy it straight out, but it's fine because that's one of them ones, like I said, it's you get it at 15 and it's going up to 50, and if you can buy enough shares at $15, it's not already at 200, 300. So I'm perfectly cool with that. I'll load up on it knowing that it'll blast off. I mean, options would be great because you could buy them a year or two out and get them super cheap and just buy a ton of them. But it's fine. We can still do that with stocks on that one. That's not a big deal. It'll be worth it for that. So, and again, whatever great opportunities are there, we're going to nail them. And that's why I look at it and say crypto, options, stocks, just whatever opportunities. And that's what I've been looking for, honestly. And really starting next week, we're going to zero in. I knew it was going to be a little hectic. Election and the Fed, obviously, some ran up and we caught a few of them, but I wasn't really that concerned. Again, we're gonna have 4 years of just chaos of hitting market hitting charts and stuff, so I was not really that worried. But like I said, I've been really zeroing in on trying to figure out what our best opportunity for the most profit, the easiest one is. And that's really what I've been experimenting with and trying to nail down. I feel like if I can get that down pretty solid, which I think I'm starting to, I'm not going to say I'm going to be great at it yet because it's just kind of starting out, but it's actually going way better than I would have thought. I'll tell you that. And I think I kind of impressed a few people because they're like, I never thought of that method, but that seems pretty smart. And and yeah, it's just running pretty smooth. But again, I want to make sure, obviously, nothing's dummy proof in this, but I try to make everything as simple as possible. And that's just the way I looked at it. I said, what's the easiest way to do this? And try to maximize some profits and not, and try to keep it as safe as possible. So again, I'll definitely do the video. I was just kind of waiting to as I experimented and made sure I was doing it right because I had no idea and I didn't want to tell anybody the wrong information. That's for sure. I don't want to lead anyone down the wrong path. So I feel pretty confident that what we're going to do, and especially as this the charts are setting up now. It's almost a no-brainer. So yeah, and before again, you're looking at charts that just weren't running the way they were. So it was hard. You had to almost call your expirations way further out, almost as insurance policies, pretty much, just because you just couldn't tell when these things run right. I can almost tell you where they're going to go and time them pretty well. Once they get into that system, like into that routine and that rhythm, I mean, and it'll take a month or two or whatever, but once they do it, it's just like boom, ba boom, ba boom, and yeah, it'll be nice and smooth and easy. So XPON looks like it's trying to curl up there. I would say it's setting up. Doesn't look like it's dipping, and if it does, it'll come back to the 20 at 355. And I don't think you're gonna see it. It's in the 380s right there. So I think you're gonna see that one move. BSEM. Is that what I even wrote? I think. So I'm pretty sure I wrote that. I have no idea what I wrote. I don't even see anything like that. So I have no idea what I was supposed to write there. I'll have to go back and look. MNMD. Let me see. Mind Medicine. This was up 77 cents today, and this one had earnings too today and bounced up. And another one, it was sitting right there. I couldn't have told you, but now it's hitting that top. I would look for a little bounce back, and we can catch this one on the way up because this one's setting up too. It's not exactly the most bullish thing, but I have a feeling the chart's going to reset up on this as it pulls back here. It's going to reset up and then it's going to get bullish. That's what it looks like. I should take a screenshot and do it because I have a feeling that's what it's going to do. HITI, that high tide, this one was up in the top there, and it just kind of pulled back. And it's I think that I can't even tell. I was looking at this earlier. I don't even know where someone sent it to me, or I don't even know where I was looking at it, but I was looking at this thing and I was kind of confused. I was like, so I want to pull back or go up? It looks like it's trying to base out there and trying to pop back up. I would look at this tomorrow to see if it tries to run up real quick. It has that look like it could just bounce right up there and get over that 20. And honestly, it is trying to in the RSI. And then in the MACD, looks like it was trying to pull back. It's one of them weird ones, a hard look. So I'll take a look at that one. And I'm not sure if someone wanted to look at it. I forget what I was looking at it for. We buy WBUY. This was up today. I know we just saw it on the scanner the other day. I was scrolling through the scanner and it jumped out at us and said it was getting set up. Well, there was that setup and run because it went from like 31 cents to 57. So it's back down to 19. WBUY. Yeah, it went from 12 cents was its low to 58 today and back to 19. So yeah, pretty crazy run right there for WeBuy. And again, we had seen this the other day, saw it the other day, and it ran up like crazy there. NMHI, that's at Nature's Miracle Holding. Another one we had looked at before, but today it ran up like crazy. It went from like 12 cents to 43. Might even went higher than that. 10 cents to 44. So yeah, and another one. It looks like it almost wants to try to get curled through here and run. I could see it try like kind of pulling back tomorrow because it ran up so much, but I could also see this thing trying to run next week. So an interesting one to keep an eye on just to see what it wants to do. XTIA, let's see that one right there. And we were looking at this as well. I think it ran up. Yeah, it ran up from like 5 cents to 10 cents, and it's back to five. And it went down, I think, 4.5. Yep. And I think yesterday was still its bottom. It was like 3 cents. And it's setting up. It's trying to crawl through the MACD. And I think the RSI is going to try to get moving. So another one that's just trying to get back to a normal chart setting, which is nice to see, and we'll keep our eye on that. ELAB, this one we've been checking out because it's been on the scanner like every morning. And like I told you, it just wasn't ready yet. I was saying, it's setting up and it's just still running flat down there. It's not showing me that it's exactly ready, but it looks more ready than it did 2 days ago. Let's put it that way. I'll look at it again in the morning because it'll probably be right on there and we'll see what it wants to do. We looked at ENSC the last day or so, and this one ran up today. It ran from like 69 cents or 66 cents to almost a dollar. ENSC. Just looked at it the other day at 83 cents to 98 cents. But what it closed at 82. But yesterday it ran from 48 to 93, and then today 83 to 98. So did run up there. And again, another one. It looks like it wants to try to run up in that top. It has a support line right there. I could see this running up even higher tomorrow, ENSC. And just wasn't even feasible before. On mine, it looks like it might have pulled back. It did the 69. On here, when it closed, it looked really good and strong when it closed. Um, I'll have to look at it in the morning, but again, it still looked kind of strong, but it did pull back a little bit. I'll look at that one in the morning. Let me look at that. XTIA, another aerospace and defense one. Oh, wait, no, we just looked at it, right? Yeah, what am I talking about? I was gonna say, wait, we just looked at it. ELAB, I'm going the wrong way. TRNR, my bad. TRNR, here we go. This one we were looking at probably all for like a week or two, and it actually pulled back. I was looking at this to see if it was going to have a bottom bounce. I was like, wait, this one wasn't popping up today. It was actually dipping pretty good, and I was like, is that going to be a bottom bounce there? And let's see, it ran from 12 to 20. Maybe it did run up and back to 8. So maybe it ran up in the pre-market, and I just know I was looking at it today, and then it looks like it was coming back down to that bottom right there. So I'll have to take a look at this tomorrow. Is it the right day? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, didn't this run this morning in the pre-market? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it did. It doesn't show it on the FinViz, but mine does. And that's why it went from 12 to 20 and back to 7, and it's at 8 right now. So I'll look at this tomorrow because it did run up there. I totally forgot about that. SOXL. Now, this is a good one. Another ETF. It's the semiconductor bull, and it's about to crawl through and get rolling, guys. So I would say these semiconductors are looking pretty strong right now. And I'm gonna say, and we'll look at the SMCI, obviously, but I looked at it today, and obviously it was bouncing. I think they have something going on. And I saw somebody also write that they don't necessarily need an auditor or anything by the 15th or the 16th in like a week or two. Probably the 15th or the 14th, because the 16th is a Saturday. But by next week, the end of next week, it's probably the 15th. They just have to give, I guess, the SEC a plan or something. I was reading somebody that said they audit Fortune 500 companies, and my buddy does too. I know somebody that does auditing as well. I didn't ask him, but I was reading this person. I should ask my buddy, but he said as long as they have a contingency plan and they provide that plan, they have to extend it, which I know that too. They'll grant them an extension, and and then obviously it'll get like a 180-day extension. So that's a pretty good amount of time to find your auditing and get everything ready. So yeah, obviously whenever you get that letter, it makes you drop, and then you file your extension or whatever, and then you always, you bounce back up, you get that 180 days, and then it's in between that 180 if you can get it together, and then we look at it. So we'll look at that, but like I said, SOXL. And another thing, I'm telling you, we're going to start looking at these things, these ETFs, because like Laptop Travel pointed out last night, they're like this is the Dowie Semiconductor Bull 3 times shares. So it's like 3 times the value. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know it is 3 times. Like I said, the CONL versus the coin, it was astronomically different. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, how the hell did it get so different? It's trading off of coin. Like, that's the ETF for coin, and it was way higher. So the percentages. So but that's another thing that I've been looking at and saying, oh, well, instead of trading Tesla, why don't we do the TSLL? And look at that one, since that's obviously the 2 times the bull share or the ETF. Because if you had gotten in this thing, Laptop Travel agrees 100%. And this one, again, this one's way down there too. It was just at like $12 the other day. 1160, and now it's at 16. So you could buy a ton of these things. You don't need to, but you could buy a bunch. They're going to be cheap, and again, they're two times what they're going to go up. So just figure them to be like almost, you know, almost like $50 ones practically, because they're just going to start multiplying with it, and the percentages are going to shoot up. Like I said, between the CONL and the coin, it was a huge difference, and I can only imagine between Tesla and this one's going to be a higher percentage because of the two times. So just something, another thing to think about and look into. And again, something I've been experimenting and doing research and checking things out so that we can find the best opportunities to make the most amount of profit on the easiest trades, the safest ones, and just trade them smart. That's all you needed to do is hit these. And I'm telling you, if we're gonna have 4 years of it, and it'll be amazing. So this just again, just doing my experimenting and researches, but you can see what I'm looking at. And obviously I'm trying to find what's going to be best and, most lucrative and safest, honestly. So that's what I looked at. And that's why SOXL was on there and TSLL I had written next to Tesla. So I'm gonna roll through, and if any laptop travel probably knows them all off the top of his head, but any of the other ones that have any ETFs, laptop travel, or anyone else that knows them, shoot them over to me real quick so I can add them over, because we definitely want to be looking at them. And again, just that leverage is just amazing. So that's what we're looking at, and so just another thing to think about. And again, I'll break it all down a lot more simple, but I know I just keep trying to explain it a little bit just so it sounds a little bit, if you hear it enough times, it makes it a little easier to understand. So I know I said it 100 times, but I'm just trying to explain it different ways for people to get it, because again, I know it was pretty intimidating for me to just jump into it and go, what the heck are they even talking about? But now that I've been doing it for a little, not that long, but enough, and understand it, it's not really that bad. So, and Laptop Travel's got our ETF list he'll send over to me later. So I appreciate that, greatly appreciate it. And I think everybody will, because again, I'm telling you, the leverage and stuff, you're going to see what I'm talking about really soon. And like I told you, by Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's just going to be wild, guys, completely insane. So, WBD, remember I told you Warner Brothers had something going on? I didn't know what the heck was going on. Well, today it was going on because it jumped up pretty nice. It opened at like 9:02, but it had to have gapped up because yesterday it closed at 8:38, and it's been moving up. It jumped up yesterday too, and we were probably looking at it down here, possibly in the sevens, I bet. And yeah, it jumped up to like 980 today. It could run up more in the top there. It is setting up still, so but I would be careful tomorrow. But yeah, Warner Brothers, another one we looked at. I'm telling you, we're 3 weeks early on all of them, just about. And again, another reason why I really want to I'm trying to time them out just perfectly with the options and stuff, because we know we're early, and now if we can just now each one and really just zero in on them and just nail them perfectly. We don't have to trade them all, but take the best ones, like the best setups that look like they're going to run pretty significantly real quick. And then if they have an ETF with it, you take that. And yeah, I'm just kind of seeing what works best. And like I said, that's why I was saying earlier, I think I'm starting to zero in on it. And like I've been talking to some different people, some hedge fund guys, and showing them what I've been doing, and they're like, "Man, I never really thought that." I'm like, "I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, guys." So you tell me if this sounds normal, and they're like, "No, but it looks awesome." So I'm like, "Okay, so let's roll with this." And again, that's why I'm experimenting. I have other people kind of experimenting that have been trading for years, way longer than me, probably as long as Laptop Travel, I'd bet. And so yeah, and I know Laptop Travel's trading some of these bad boys, and other people are. So we're gonna get it nailed down. I can promise you. It don't take us that long, and then it's off and running and locking in profits. And like I said, it's just kind of, you don't even have to hit huge. That's what I'm really realizing, because again, I came from that penny stock mindset of hitting 100% plus stocks all the time. And they're big percentages, obviously. 100% is big. So you get that mindset that you have to hit these big ones to make money. And really, I've kind of had to retrain my brain and my mindset, obviously, but to really understand that you don't really have to hit them. It's nice when you hit them, don't get me wrong, it helps out, but you're not going to hit them all the time anyway. And again, you have to trade them smart. And this market's been crazy. Maybe they get easier again, and we start rocking and rolling through 100% penny stocks because we know how to trade them smart, and we hit the options. That it's perfectly fine. But and I know like laptop travel, a couple of you has been hitting the web bull early. I'm just not up at that time. I need my brain needs rest, I think. So it's hard for me to get up that early to trade the penny stocks. So like I said, I figured out the options, and I realized that was the way to go. And yeah, but we can do them all. I have no problem. I love the stuff, and I'll tear every chart apart. So we'll nail them, believe me. It's gonna get great. And I really think since and I know, looking at the list, a ton of you's been listening for at least like a couple weeks to a month, and a lot of you's been listening for since the beginning. I know that. And because I started doing this in about June, I think I started doing the show. And literally a couple of yous, laptop travel, a few Elena's on here. There's a few of yous I recognize right off the bat. I always recognize you. Jennifer Lee's always been on here. Luis Rodriguez has been on for a long time. A few of yous have. Trust me, I know exactly who's been around for a long time. And yeah, you guys, you know, like this, we just pick them out, and the show's just evolved like a little better each. I feel like it gets better each month, and now we're getting to that Thanksgiving spot where then now it's time to really turn it on, and we've been talking about it, and now it's time to really start locking in all those profits. And it was kind of just a learning course up until there. And again, I know some of you has been trading some of these and crushing them. A lot of you have, and I've traded plenty lately and doing very well. And but now it's going to get into that routine where we can just, again, you have three or four, and it's in a cycle. You're selling one, you're buying one, and two are setting up, or one or two are setting up, and they're about to sell, and you're getting ready to buy your next one. And it's like juggling, and then you just constantly do it. And then before you know it, your account, like honestly, if you think about it, just think about like smaller hits too, like 200 to 400 hour wins on a consistent basis every single day, and that's small. Um, just think about it in 1 week. If you go 200 hours every day for 5 days, you make $1,000, and you take your $1,000, you compound that one. Plus, you already had your money that you were working with the week before, and then you start making 250, and you just start jumping them up like that. And honestly, you can do it very easily with these options, and very safely. I feel like, again, you buy them a little further out for that insurance, I feel like, and I'll explain it all. And obviously, you make a little less, but it's perfectly fine when you see these percentages. So we'll get way into it, and I promise you guys, by the new year, it's going to be freaking nuts. And again, he's not even going to be in office yet by that point, and it's going to start getting crazy. Imagine when he takes office, how crazy this thing's going to get. So let me roll through the messages real quick, because there's probably a bunch, and then I'll really rock and roll right through everything. I know we've been talking a lot the last few nights, but again, it's been exciting with all the, we've kind of called it from 3 months out, and now we're starting a new 3 months, so it's getting really exciting. And May 31st was the first show I did. There you go. Thank you, Laptop Travel. I had no idea. Now I'll always remember. May 31st was the first time I did a show. And yeah, I just hopped on and started talking about stock charts. I kept saying, and my buddy Timmy, I think you guys remember, I did a show right before it. I was saying I was gonna do one, and then I let my buddy come over and watch me like do one, and I taped it and did a couple of them and watched them back. And I was like, all right, I think I can do this now. And yeah, started rocking and rolling with them. And yeah, we never stopped. I even did them on vacations and our lakeside. I do them all the time. I'm telling you, I love doing it. It's so fun, and you guys are awesome. So here we go. Let's rock and roll. Let me see what you guys want to see. We'll roll right through everything. Um, DMATS. DMAT. Sorry, that's the dollar sign. DMAT is a ETF. Which one is that one? DMAT. Global Disruptive Materials. That's an interesting one. And that one's about to pop, guys. Holy cow. That one looks great. I mean, it's a weird ass chart. I'm not gonna lie, but 1750, it was up 77 cents today, and it's in a great spot right there to get moving into the top. D what is it? DMAT. I like it. Yeah, check this one out. We'll write that one down too. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a nice little ETF list, and obviously Laptop Travel already said he'll provide one, so that's awesome. And yeah, we'll roll through that. We'll make that kind of like part of our list with our big caps. And like I said, we'll just zero in on exactly what we need to zero in on. We don't have to do a huge list every day. And whatever you guys want to see, we'll knock through them and just roll through, pick out the great ones so it's easier for, and I've realized we do so many of them. It's hard for people to really figure out what the poppers are going to be. I know I kind of asterisk them and I say it, but then when I do like 140 of them in a night, it's definitely tough for you guys to, and I just been posting out my chart or my watch list thing that I make marks on. But yeah, I listen back to the show and I'm like, yeah, you're not looking at all these charts. And obviously, I'm like one with these charts. It's a lot different. So I get that it's hard to pick out the exact poppers. And I'm sitting here looking at them going, I know that one's going to run. And so, yeah, we'll make it a lot more clear for everybody so that they obviously know. And again, I'm not a financial guy, but we'll make it pretty known exactly which ones are going to be moving. We'll make a little list of like a couple of them, and obviously you can pick the best setups, and we'll do it that way. And we'll know that there'll be like four or five that are all potential runners, and yeah, we'll have at it. So I know some of the like Tim Skies used to do like a little watch list each day, and he's really good too. I mean, I've followed that guy forever and watched his stuff. He's really good. He's an honest guy. Um, does a lot of coaching and stuff like that, but he's been in the game forever. And just yeah, he does the penny stocks. I told you I used to watch like him and his crew and like Jason Bond. And I told you I said it before at the beginning. The guy Jason Bond got in trouble with the SEC. I don't even. I mean, they said that he was like pumping and dumping stuff, and that's where I say like essentially everything kind of is. I mean, you see it when it gets volume. They did a whole thing. I don't know what the hell it was, but I know if you look him up. But I'm telling you, the guy's money. He still sends out picks and stuff, and he can't charge or people or anything. I think part of the thing. I don't even remember, but yeah, the guy was. I mean, we're talking like 15 years ago, probably. Um, I was following this guy and he was breaking down these penny stocks. I'm like, man, this guy knows what he does. And again, Tim Skies is another one that's been doing it a long, long time. And they're probably two of the better ones that I've ever seen do it. And kind of piqued my interest, to be honest, as I was looking at these charts back then. And these guys were just doing, penny stocks, like a different level of things. And yeah, I just kind of followed along with them and saw what they were doing. And obviously, I do my own thing now, but I always kind of keep an eye on the market and what people are doing. I like to know who's honest and who gives like real information. And that's why I'm telling you, like I said, I know Jason Bond got in trouble, but I've looked at it before and I remember going, essentially, like, isn't that everybody that does that? But again, that was a long time ago and things have changed big time since he got in trouble. So you're talking like they were like caveman rules back then, and they don't apply them anymore because again, the technology and everything's just so crazy now. So you can't possibly have them same kind of rules. How could you do that with Reddit and all like stock twits, Twitter, everything? It's just essentially everything would be a pump and a dump. And yeah, I know that dude Zach Morris got in trouble or whatever that guy goes by and some other people. But yeah, I mean, they were doing like buying and manipulating things and telling, and that's why I say I just point out the charts and I let people pick what they want and I tell you what's set up, and if anyone ever asks me about a stock, I give you my honest opinion, and that's all I can do. And so that's why I say, like, people always, they accuse me of trying to pump stuff. I'm like, I don't even understand what you mean because the chart looks good. What does that mean? You're trying to pump anything? I could care less if you buy it or not. It doesn't even matter to me. And even if I owned it, I wouldn't care. So I essentially, at the end of the day, I never really understood that. But I guess if you really have a big following and you're buying something way low and you're telling people up at the top like, "Oh, it's still great," and you're like getting out of it and you're leading people down the wrong path, yeah, that's definitely an issue. Again, the one guy I call out and blocked me, he kind of does that and has a big paid service at the same time. So it's not okay to do that. And I've talked about that before. And that's why I just give it to you honest and give it to everybody for free. What the hell? If you're that good, like I say, if you're that good at doing it, what are you charging people for? Just hook people up and have fun with it. And I get you have newsletters and different things, totally understandable. But them stupid stock like alerts and stuff that they send out like text messages and three a day. I Again, you couldn't trade them all anyway. Just give me a goddamn list that I can pick five or six and they're all good and we're good to go. And again, that's where I was kind of coming from. The guy Tim Skies used to do it all the time, and his lists were freaking incredible back in the day. Like you would hop on, and I'm not gonna lie, my one buddy that's a genius with computers, he figured out the site that he would actually upload his WordPress to before he would make it live. So we had the link. I'm not even kidding. I had the link forever. And so I would always see exactly what he had before he would put it up. It was crazy. I'm not, and the dude was money. And yeah, again, if you just know computers pretty well, you could have figured it out real easily. And then he would constantly just do it on the same thing. So it was easy to do. And yeah, so I just had that link favored. And like I said, I would look at a certain time. He'd put it up at like 9 o'clock at night or something. And yeah, I would look at like 6:30. I knew everything going on, and he was on point, this dude, and he still is. He like designed his own scanners and shit like that. But anyway, long story short, them guys are pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. And people, that's where I really started figuring out that these stock charts were real. So guys like that, they know what they're talking about. And you just got to sort through the good people and know who's good and not. But anyway, let me roll through. There was no options on that. Let me know if you guys want to see any. Licho something wants to see something here. LSPD. Let's see that. Lightspeed Commerce. That's cause it's earnings what today? Yeah, today it was. And it jumped up there. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be an early morning runner, Licho something, but I would be careful. It just had that spike up. I'm gonna look at it on mine, and that's LSPD. LSPD. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Just let me see. You just have to be careful. It's sitting right there. If it can lay like up in the 17s, the low 17s, I say it's safe. Where it's at right now, it could possibly pull back. So you just got to be careful. It poked its head in the top too, and again, it could pull itself out. So it just has that look like and again, earnings today. What do you expect? It could go either way. Be honest. Tomorrow I'd be able to tell you. And SOUN, I think I had that on the list, but let's roll through it real quick. Soundhound, and this is up $1.26, and it was moving today. Their earnings are coming up next week on the 12th, next Tuesday, and this one, another one. It should keep rolling up, keep that momentum. And it kind of rolled right off. It crossed through and just ran up, and it looks like it wants to cross up into that top too. Let me see what it looked like in the after hours. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid for like an early morning momentum run. I don't know how much more it's going to pop up. It was a nice run up, and I think it's going to try to pull back, but it could get right up into that top and move a little bit. So I'll look at that one in the morning. SOUN. Um, Let me just see. Lewis Rodriguez had a few. CORZ. Let me look at these. I'll roll through the big cappers next. We already did our crypto and stuff, and then I'll hit our laptop lowdowns or our laptop list and we'll be good to go pretty fast. So CORZ, let's see it. Oh, up $2 and a beautiful momentum play. Earnings yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday were their earnings. And I'm looking at it like I would have thought it would have dipped. I'm telling you, I'm the worst with earnings. How about we do the opposite of what I think on earnings? That might work. That might be a whole strategy right there. I don't know how I could be so bad at it. It's crazy to me that I look at it and it's like the opposite of every one of them. Hey, at least you know I'm honest about everything because I would lie and say, yeah, I knew I was going to do that, but no, I don't do that stuff. I tell you straight up, it looked like it was going to dip to me and it ran up. So what do I know? CORZ, and that's why I'm not messing with the earnings. But CORZ, it looks like to me right now it wants to stay in that top and run. I would say you have a momentum play in the morning. Let me just double check it here. Yeah, it didn't pull back at all. I would think that's going to be a momentum play in the morning, Luis Rodriguez. So I would look for that. The BTBT is a good one, especially as crypto's moving. That's what Bit Digital, and here we go. The it's BTBT. Oh, this one's gonna cross through. You can already see that happening right there. And yeah, I think BTBT is gonna be really nice. And again, crypto's going nutty, and this is looking nice. I might have to look at that in the morning as well with you there, Luis Rodriguez. It went a little flat there as it's crawling up, but I don't think it has a problem to get through, to be honest. So we'll definitely look at that one. And TSM, a Taiwan Semiconductor. Oh my God, this one looks beautiful. This one we want to put on the list for tomorrow. TSM guys. And again, it's like 200 hours, so it's obviously an option thing. And it's a semiconductor one, and it is looking beautiful. It is crawling through, it's gonna run, it's gonna get over that 206 and it's gonna blast off. So TSM, I'm telling you, Luis Rodriguez, he has a great eye for these bad boys. Option calls, I jot them down whenever he puts them on because you know they're gonna be good. And so yeah, TSM and Lewis, I'll hit you up on here if and ask you if you trade options as well because it seems like you do. You have a great eye for them, and you ever want to share like your experience or what your little angle is. I'll hit you up about it because, like I said, anyone that ever wants to come on and share what their angle is, or if they find something that they think works, feel free. Just hit me up, and you know I'll be more than happy to have you on. And I just always think, experiences help out everybody because obviously, you can do a ton of different ways in this market. And again, I kind of started doing the show because of laptop travel and Peninsula Life because them two were kind of sending me the same setups, and everybody else was sending me different ones. And I was like, huh, I guess a lot of people look at a lot of different things. I always just looked at these bottom setups, but then I realized there was people that loved momentum plays that were at the top, and these guys and them and option calls. And then I was like, hey, I can look at all the charts. I don't care. And Laptop Travels thumbs up because he knows. I literally said it at the beginning. I said it about both the two of them kind of were the ones that were like, hey, you know what? I can definitely do a show about this. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was just going to scan through the charts and kind of show people what I do because people were, I can look at it over 1,000 charts in like a half hour with no problem. And you can tell if you go on the scanner and I get Finviz, just go on like the most active or the most volume. They're the best two or unusual volume. They're probably the best two places to start. They're not the end all be alls. You can see there's a million of them. You have your top gainers, which are great momentums. Your new highs, you can look at them overbought and your oversolds. You also have your top losers and your new lows. So you got great ones at the bottom that you can get set up. You have your insider buying and selling, your earnings before and after. So you have a lot of different spots. Your most volatile, they're going to be really jumpy. A lot of times they'll be pulling back, but you can find some great poppers on there. As a matter of fact, CELU was on there. That was up 113% today. So And again, Finva is free. It's absolutely free. That's why, and I was just kind of going on and showing people, you hop on here and you can hit. I go up to the top because I don't like to have all the information where it tells you like it just makes more charts. It's three across and what, four down, I think. Yeah, it's like 12 charts on a page. And I mean, I can rip through 10 pages like in a couple minutes. And yeah, I'll just keep rolling through them. So there's 120 right there. And yeah, within like, I mean, I could do that with no, in literally like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And then, yeah, I can easily do a couple, like 1,000 charts and just look. And then I'll pick out the ones that are looking good and write them down. That's what I would do. And then obviously I kind of evolved it, realizing that I was like, hey, anyone want me to look at these? And boom, ba boom, ba boom. And now we got a whole show with Jolie's jumpers and laptop lowdowns and everybody else providing great stock tickers and hanging out. So, and a great little community. Like I said, Luis Rodriguez, if he's sending over stock tickers or Jennifer Lee, um, keep an eye on them. The laptop lowdown list, we've probably had more 100%ers come off of them bad boys in the last like 2 months than you could ever imagine. And yeah, and a lot of people just sending great ones. I get tons of messages. You guys know I answer everyone back. And yeah, it's a great, great little show that we have here and kind of just started out of nowhere and it's a fun time and like I said, we're gonna become like one of the best trading shows ever, and it's all gonna be free. So if you know people that like it, tell them because it's always fun to have more people. And yeah, it's just like I said, people just send in what they see. And Laptop Travel, he sets his scanners. Peninsula Life has them. Other people set scanners and send them over to me. We look at different stock tickers. You obviously know I love it. I'll look at them all day and night. I do it all the time, every day. So I'm looking at them, and yeah, send them over if they're not. And I just look at them and go, yeah, maybe that one's perfect in like 2 days, and we know it's a setup. So I honestly say I'm not the one that really picks them all out anymore. I think you guys send me more better ones than and I just roll through the scanner. I honestly haven't even been using my scanners as much, but we're gonna really start using them more now that we're fine tuning, getting into them poppers. Because like I said, and these options, because like I said, I have them set up where they're ones that I've never even seen before. They don't even come up on these scanners, and I have no idea why. But these things just run like 20% overnight, like the next day. Like it's no big deal. It's wild. And now I can definitely see doing these kind of things on options. So I was actually messing around with some of the scanners because I had a lot of them set up to find the 100% poppers. And yeah, we'll find them all. I'll put everything out there, but we're gonna zero in on the absolute best, most profitable, safest calls and nail them at each day. And that's all you have to do. And then we'll hit some of the Grand Slam 100%ers when it's like, oh, that one's definitely going to be running 100%. And you just pick up a couple, you buy some shares and it's an easy payday. So that's my mindset and where we're heading in that direction. And again, we started the show on what, June 31st, you said, and it's kind of evolved into a lot more and it's been awesome. So I appreciate you guys always hanging out and always contributing, trust me. So and I love that you guys, like I said, just come on, and as long as people show up and I see a screen full of people, I'm like, let's roll. I keep going. So it's fun for me. I enjoy it. So thank you guys, and let's roll through. Let me check out the things, and then we'll go through our big caps because it's getting late, and I don't like to hold you guys up that long. And I think I got through all them. Let me just see up here. Yeah, Laptop Travel, you tend every show, dude. You're like the greatest. Are you kidding me? It was you contribute so much, dude. I greatly appreciate it. And everybody, honestly, like I said, I wake up in the morning, I have the Jolie's jumpers list already there. It makes my life so easy to hop on in the morning and be like, boom, we start there, and then it's just bam, a bam, a bam. I mean, it's just kind of happened. She was just sending them every morning, and then I was just like, hey, this is awesome. Let's make this a list. And Yeah, I think everybody kind of has fun with it. That's what you got it. You have to have fun, make things exciting, especially this is a learning experience for everybody. And we all are in different spots in life and experiences in the market. And I get that. Trust, like I said, I've been doing it for a long time, but I was more always obsessed with stock charts and not really trading. So I can't say that I've traded for 20 years straight. I've always had off and on times. I did really, really well for a little while where like I said, I live a very blessed life and I was able to just kind of, have a child and kind of just chill. I was kind of just chilling and doing this. And then, like I said, I caught a brain injury, which was wild. So things happen for reasons. I never realized why, but it all happens for a reason. And, yeah, it all just came together at the right time. And like I tell you guys, this is the most therapeutic thing for my brain injury. I can tell a difference on the weekends when I don't get I mean get up at in early in the morning, you do a show at 7 a.m. and I'm looking at stock charts, rattling them off. It just makes my brain work. I kind of feel like I'm gonna have to do this the rest of my life. And then I end my day with it, and it kind of just it is perfect, honestly. I mean, and I'm telling you, I got hit with a 10-ton jack with the pressure of a two-story house. I shouldn't be alive. My head should have exploded on impact. And then I go to a hospital and they send me home with 4 stitches 4 hours later and tell me I'm fine. And a week later after that, I go down the Jersey Shore and take my niece into a haunted house, which I had a brain injury. I mean, if you look at all the signs, it says do not go in these things if you have like any of that stuff. And yeah, I go in one and I literally came out and I told my wife, I'm like, something's not right. I feel like I'm gonna drop dead. And she's like, you're fine, let's go. And yeah, I definitely wasn't fine after that. But again, it's just kind of a miracle of a story. I shouldn't even be sitting here, I'm not gonna lie. And that's why I say I understand it changed my life, and I was always kind of a very laid back kind of person and humble and like I say I realized I'm blessed with a gift and why not help others and pass it on? And that's why I get like the whole mindset of Trump. I'm not saying I understand his mindset because nobody will, but I understand you survive a miracle. It's changing you completely. I don't care who you are. You're going to change. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. And you can see he changed. Look at the team of people he put around him, and just the stuff he says. He said, I realized I made mistakes the first time. I'm not making the mistakes again. Nobody's perfect, but you know what the right thing to do is? Learn from your mistakes. So he's not bringing in certain people that he felt like weren't the right people for these things. And I mean, look, you put in an Elon Musk and a Dana White. You got guys that know how to run shit, run it the right way and don't play games and don't need a pension or a salary from the government either. And these are the guys that are stepping up and saying, yo, we're willing to help out, do whatever we want to get this country back in order and back in like, the right direction. I'm not saying, like well, we do need to get it back in order. The crime's out of control too, so everything. But again, I was talking financials more, but you bring in the right people and you can see he's doing it. He's surrounding himself with the right people. And I think, and I know a lot, I'll tell you what, you guys are good entertainment. Go online and watch some of these meltdown videos. Holy cow, me and my wife and my daughter were showing me some. Holy shit, we were just cracking up before I came on here. There's one I told my wife, I was like, yo, you have to send me this. I have to send it out. There's this one lady like cutting her hair and just like having a meltdown. It is the craziest video ever. It's like did anyone get that crazy when like yeah, people got crazy, but they weren't making videos where they're cutting their hair off and crying. Like Jimmy Kimmel was crying, like practically crying on his night show. I mean, these people are nuts. And I don't even know how half of them have shows either, but not the internet people, but like a Jimmy Kimmel and all the night people, they're all crazy too. I mean, they were hardcore, like just wild. Like I'm like, man, it's crazy. Again, the media is just the most propaganda machine we've ever seen, and I hope a lot of people see it because I called it out from the get-go. Remember, I said it the night that they gave Harris the ticket. And my daughter was like, and all of a sudden on TikTok, she had become like the greatest person ever. And my daughter was showing us these videos, and it was crazy. And within like a month, all the kids, I remember telling you guys, the kids were mocking her. And you're not gonna win when 15 all the teenagers are mocking you and they think you're stupid. If kids think you're dumb, how are you gonna run a country? And literally, she was getting mocked by kids online and I mean, it was crazy. And so you just knew it wasn't running right. You have to have all that. And again, all these kids, and it's funny, me and my wife were saying these kids are so into politics today, like 15 and 16-year-old kids, they can't even vote, but they're way into it, like so many of them. It's crazy. And we were saying we were definitely not into that shit. It's definitely the internet and stuff because we could have cared less about politics at that age. But I'm telling you, these kids will love it. And you can get a good gauge off of, like, obviously they're not voting, but you can see if they're making fun of somebody like that and it's a lot of them, you don't stand a chance. You're toast. So you could just see it all happening anyway. But anyway, let's roll through the big cappers here. Our SPY was up today, up $4 again, and it doesn't look like it wants to come down. Let's put it that way. Not tomorrow. I mean, it's hitting that top, but it just doesn't have that look where it wants to come down. So we're obviously going to have to see it in the morning and see what it wants to do. But I have a feeling it wants to jump up a little bit more. I think they're going to try to get into the top. They're setting up. I'm telling you, they can just go any which way at this point because they're just set up so nice and they just ran off. So I think it's going to continue up. Again, I was telling you about I went to Apple. Keep doing that first, but let's do GameStop. That one's setting up, I'm telling you. GameStop's going to get moving, guys. That and AMC. Our AMC was pulled back today and probably in almost a perfect spot. Wasn't there earnings? Yeah. Their earnings were yesterday and it pulled back, and I'm telling you, it's in the perfect spot. That's where exactly where you kind of wanted it. I think it's going to bounce right off of that AMC. So I am going to be looking at that tomorrow, and we'll definitely look at it in the morning and see if it wants to roll off that MACD because it is setting up beautifully right there. I mean, you can just see it perfect, and it's just a matter of days. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I think it's going to be ready for next week. So AMC is looking good. Chewy CHWY was up $1. Remember, we were saying this thing was looking good, and you're about to see it go to 34. I remember saying it, and then it's going to bounce off of there and go even higher. So, Roaring Kitty must have some options going on with that. And the video is looking good, up $3 today, 327, and another one. It's curling up, and it looks like it's going to get into the top. Not many of these were able to do this before. They still have their earnings on the 20th, but and it's setting up super bullish. But again, not many of these things before could curl through, get up there, and get into the top like this. So we're seeing a beautiful look like that. Apple, APL. I told you, I think this one's going to get rocking and rolling, guys. So it is setting up super bullish as well. And it should get right up into that 233, 235 area with no problem. So just keep your eye on Apple because it dipped down. I'm telling you, that bottom was the other day at 219 and you're sitting at 227. Just catching them bottoms, just think about it. Catch that bottom at 220. It went to 219. Catch it at 220, 221. And then within 3 days, you're already up at 227 like that. You're way in the green. And then if you caught it down there, say you caught it, you saw it went down to 219 and you ended up buying it probably at like 221 and you set your thing for like your strike price for $22 or 222 and you bought it at 221 and your strike was for 222 and now it's at 227, you're way in the green already. You're in the money, and then it's still running up, and as it gets closer to your expiration, it's going up even more. So the closer you get, the higher up it goes, and the more it goes up in the money, the more it goes. So they're running two percentages up for you, basically, is what I look at. I don't know if it's right, but that's how I look at it. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's not like buying a $220, $227 stock and watching it go up to 234 and going, yeah, I made a couple bucks, but I made $7 off of that. It's not even close. Um, you're in a whole different galaxy. So I totally get it, and that's why we're zeroing in on it and really doing it right. Google, we did say it was going to try to hit that 182. I think it's going to just run right through it now. So Google set up, and I mean super, super bullish. They look like they have something big coming out, to be honest. But they almost all look like they have something big coming out. But Google looks really good. Amazon was up, and again, Amazon, it's up in the top. It's going to run up there. It's going to pull back before, I would say, in the next week or so, because it's going to want to pull back right before Black Friday, I think. And then it's going to go nuts. So you're getting that initial pull run up from all the election, and it's going to get in the top, and then it's going to pull back, and then it's going to go nutty just for the holiday season. So, and it's late this year. Thanksgiving's all the way back at like the 28th. We were talking about that. So it's really late this year. So just remember, I guess what, Black Friday would be the next day on the 29th. So that's really, really late. So that's why you still have that setup happening right there. And again, it's going to get nutty. I'd have to assume if you go back and look at every December for Amazon, it's probably way up. Meta went up like $19 today, and it looks crazy too. This is another one you guys want to keep an eye on and possibly be buying up. It's at 591, so it's not a cheap one, but again, it's been moving like 19 or $20. I mean, it's just popping like wild, and it's going to get back into that $600, over 600. It's going over 600 without even trying. So you got Meta flying up there. You got Microsoft about to go flying too. I know Laptop Travel and a few others wanted this. I know we had options on it, and it started rolling, and you're going to see it get moving tomorrow. It might get up into the 430s tomorrow, guys. It should cross through it, no problem. I mean, everything looks good on it, and it's going to move. So I think you're going to be safe on that. Should be popping up there for Microsoft. And let's look at our Tesla, because that's been an animal. It's going to be at like $300 soon. It hit 299.75 today. Just under 3. And tomorrow you're going to get into the 300 range, because it's going to run up in that top. And TSLL, we were looking at it already. And another one is probably going to run up into that top too, because Tesla is. So you're going to see that run up. Nike, that was up 60 cents. I think Nike's going to start bottoming out right around here, it looks like. So remember, Nike's going to run probably 75 back up again. And, but we can probably wait. It's probably bottoming out, but you have a little bit of time. And again, you got so many. The Mag Sevens are going nuts, so you just want to kind of, when they're going crazy like that, it's a lot easier just to run into them and get in and out. They're running up like a couple dollars a day. It's wild. Um, Rivian was setting up great. I know they had their earnings and they pulled back yesterday, or was it today? Today. And yesterday it pulled back. It almost looked like a dip and rip situation. I think it was up today. It was a little bit. It went 982 to 1050. It's at 1019. And we've been talking about it setting up, but Rivian's going to get rolling, guys. So keep your eye on Rivian, because that is setting up now. And I know we were watching it for a while. Um, where am I? PLTR. I get lost on that list. PLTR is just I think it's going to have to start coming down. How's that look like? It topped out there. And I mean, do you blame it? It's been up there forever. It's at 56, something 55.88, but it got up to like 56.47. So just be careful with it. I know it's been a machine, but obviously it'll pull back and set up and go higher, but you just got to be careful. Same thing with Sophie. Although Sophie looks like it's trying to roll up there again, even higher. Let me see. Yeah, it sure does. Sophie looks like it might be a great momentum play in the morning, guys. And it's way up there at the top. And you know they're great momentum plays. So keep your eye on Sophie in the morning, because that could be a good one, a real quick pop up. Dell, this one is setting up just a little bit of pullback, nothing crazy today. Their earnings are coming up. When are they? The 26th, so they're a few weeks out, and just before Thanksgiving there. And yeah, Dell is just going to consistently go up here. Just watch for them pullbacks. Your bottom is basically right here at your 124 area. We're at 138. So that's our Dell. And let's cruise right through and see snow. SNOW. That was up to, oh, this one looking great too. Remember, we were talking about this. Their earnings are coming up the 20th, and this one's probably going to be popping up again some more tomorrow. So keep an eye on that one because Snow looks like it's about to do well. AMD was setting up $4, and I think you're going to have a major run on this one. A semiconductor, we know they're looking good. And I think we're pretty confident our bottom was right there on November 4th at 139, and it's up $10 from there, and it's going to keep moving. So keep your eye on AMD because that is looking good right there. So is Snow. A bunch of them are. I mean, it's crazy. QCOM, this was down today, but it had run up. I know that. And they had earnings, what, yesterday? 2 days ago, right? Yesterday. And yeah, this one just ran up. It's just kind of flat and it actually crossed through and looks good. So I would I would expect this one to just kind of pull back right here as it was running up and get cruising again. So you're gonna see QCOM run up, and we were looking at it when it's down here in the 160s, and now it's in the 170s. So that is cruising. How about PayPal, PYPL? This is in the 81s. 80 oh, it's getting set up really nice right there too. This is going to get up to 83 with no problem. PayPal, not saying it will tomorrow, but it's setting up for probably next week. So we'll keep an eye on that. SMCI, here we go, up 278, down 20 cents. And I'm telling you, this thing's going to start curling up. It gets out of the basement there tomorrow. It looks like it wants to. And if it does that, it's going to curl the MACD up and it'll finally get back up to that $30 area and you'll get a nice little pop going. So that's what we're looking for. And I will keep my eye on SMCI and keep you guys updated. But it is setting up and it looks really good on my chart. Looks way better on mine than it even does on FinViz, and it doesn't even look bad on there. So SMCI, I think you're going to see that little bounce play. INTC, Intel, we knew was running up. Watch for it to get to that $27 area. It's at 26.23, and it didn't get there yet. But once it gets to that 27, it's going to bust through that into the top and probably bounce off of there. So just keep an eye on INTC. And we were saying that was rolling up. Disney's getting set up. I'm telling you. Remember, I told you Disney was going to be in the hundreds? Well, it's at 98 right now. So it's about to get to 100 plus. And there you go. We were looking at it back here. I know that it was down in the low 90s. What was it, like 95? I forget where it was, but it's been setting up nice, Disney, and it'll continue to move up. It's not looking bad. Oxy, OXY, this was actually down a little bit. I think most of the sector was, but again, just setting up super bullish. The earnings are coming up next Tuesday, so it's not something we're going to mess with probably until after earnings. But Oxy, and that sounds, every time I say that, I'm like, that just sounds crazy. So Oxy, we're not going to try to do anything with that until after the earnings, but it is setting up and it will run. Exxon Mobil, XOM. This one has that weird ass look like it's ready to get blasting off. So just keep your eye on Exxon Mobil. I know they had their earnings on the first, and it is looking really good right there. I don't know what's happening. If it's going to have a dip and rip, it's about to cross through, but it definitely looks like something's going on with Exxon Mobil, and I'm not exactly sure what, but we'll keep an eye on it because it looks like it wants to run up there. Mara, that was down a little bit. I mean, I don't even know if it was down. What did it open at? Opened at 1890 and it closed at 1931. I don't know if it was really down. I know their earnings are coming up on the 12th, so that's Tuesday. And let me look at it in the after hours, see what happened. Yeah, it crossed through. It looks perfectly fine to me. I think Mara's going to get back up into the 21s, pull back obviously for the earnings, and then it's going to be setting up and just running like crazy for the next long time. Riot ran right through the resistance yesterday and it just keeps running up today. It's up some more. It opened at 1187, got up to 1264, and I think Riot gets up into the top tomorrow and tries to really get moving because it's been keeping that momentum and looking good. So I think Riot gets right in there and moves. We'll look at it tomorrow. And let's look at that MSTR. Um, you go to MicroStrategy and see what that's up to. What the heck's the guy's that means Strayer. I couldn't think of his name. Michael Strayer or something, whatever. Stayer, whatever the heck his name is, something like that. Couldn't think of it. Micro strategy, 270 and Sayer, that's it. Saylor. That's what it is. Had to think about that for a few minutes. Micro strategy though, up $13. And again, we said it was going to be bouncing up there, and honestly, it's probably going to bounce off that 270 into the top and really get cruising. So it looks like MicroStrategy is going to roll. It says, will MicroStrategy's $42 billion Bitcoin bet boost MSTR stock future or further? Yeah, I would probably say so, huh? And yeah, I'm telling you, he's like outperformed every single S&P 500 company across the board just by buying Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy, guys. Just that's all he's done. And it was a genius idea. So yeah, micro strategy. Definitely doing well there, and that's MSTR. CLSK, didn't they have a huge buy at the end of the day or something? But because it's looking really good. That was me. I bought like $10 million worth. No, I'm just kidding. But nah, it looks really good to run up here until like the 14. So I could see that one getting bought up right there. CLSK. Let me see what it looked like in the after hours. Yeah, it definitely looks pretty solid to continue to move up there. And let's look at our coin real quick. COIN. I think this one gets into the 270 area, 260s. It's at 255 and it's hitting that top. Honestly, the way they're looking, they kind of look like they're going to run up in the top right now from all the momentum and just the reaction from the election. They do. They all kind of look like they're going to run up there just briefly and then obviously have to pull back. And so maybe next week we get a little pullback, and that's again our buying days. And right now, like I said, I've just been catching the momentum on these things, a quick option, and boom, just nailing it. And they've been moving plenty. Like for example, Coinbase 246 to 259. I mean, that's plenty of movement right there to do an option in a day. So you can easily do it, and that's CONL. So yeah, I think that's going to continue to move up tomorrow. And CONL, yeah, that one looks even more insane than Coinbase, and I'm not sure how that's possible because it's the Coinbase Daily ETF, and I still have an option on it, and I'm hoping this thing just blasts off tomorrow because it looks that like it wants to, and my option expires next Friday, so if this thing keeps running up there and then it gets closer to that expiration, I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth a lot of money. It went up like it was up like over $800 or something yesterday. It's just crazy. I'm telling you, and this is one of them 2 time long coins. So when they're the ETFs, they're definitely way more than the regular like Coinbase would be. It doubles it literally. So it's pretty wild stuff, and we're definitely gonna be doing it a lot and it's going to be fun. DJT, I expected it to pull back. Remember, it ran up so much and it was in that top and it was coming down. I know he won the election, but you just got to remember these things run up to the top and then they get sold off. People are going to take the profits, and then the next thing you see are the shorters come out. And when they look like that and they're pointing down like this, I would assume it's coming back down to like $23. DJT, and then it'll get set up again to get moving. But you had to assume it was going to come down. And I know we knew it was running before the election and it ran up. Again, I called it what at $13. And we ran it up to what did it get up to? Like 54? Yeah, I remember it was over 50, 55 almost. So we knew when it was running, and now this is when it pulls back, and we kind of know that too. So just let it come down, like I said, around 24, 23, and then it'll get set back up and rolling, and I'll let you guys know when it's ready. But yeah, that's exactly what happened, and that's why we're consistently early, but it's money because we're always before the news, and you know what happens on news? It always gets sold off. And that's why I don't like to mess with anything when it's in the top because again, generally that's when the public's probably finding out we're already selling it because we were in it for 3 weeks, and then the mainstream media it starts talking about it and everyone piles in, and then it gets shorted down and sold and people get stuck in it. Happens all the time. And that's why we buy them at the bottom. We run them to the top. You take your profits out, and then you wait for it to pull back, make a base, and then you reevaluate it. If it wants to pop back up and you like it, you jump back in. But that's what you look for, and that's exactly what DJT did. And obviously, it's not over. It just has to pull back a little bit and set back up and get cruising again. So if you are in it and it pulled back on you, um, don't be it's not the end of the world, obviously. It'll get back, it'll get moving back up there, but you should have hit me up first because we knew that thing was going down. And but yeah, nah, it's just one of them things that, it's an overreaction thing and the rest of the market runs up and his runs down. It's only because it went from that 13 to 50. And again, we knew who was going to win the election months ago, so you can kind of see what was happening there. And that's why we called it out at the 13. It ran way up there and then obviously tops out and pulls back. And I know I said probably around $40, be careful. It kept running up, but again, it'll run back up, so don't worry about that. But that's just a lesson right there. That's why we get in early, we look for them bottoms, and we get out at the top because we know it's going to pull back. And that's pretty much when the mainstream media and everybody else finds out about it. Yeah, I love when people hit me up and tell me about a stock, and then I just text them back and go, "Yeah, I just sold that yesterday for like 100% profit." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, don't even think about buying it because you're gonna lose a bunch of money." And I used to have that happen a lot, and I think people realize that when they're starting to hear about it on the news, um, it's probably not a good idea to be buying it. So that's just a little lesson right there from lot of experience. MTN pulled back like $5. This thing ran up yesterday. It was a beauty. We had options on that. And I think it just kind of pulled back safely and it's going to move up more. I know it's going to move up more, but it's just a matter if it's going to pop up tomorrow or not. But yeah, this thing's going to be bullish too. It's the Val Resorts and they own like all the mountains. It's about to be winter time. So, that one gets moving. How about McDonald's? We haven't looked at it. It's just based out there. Oh, McDonald's is going to get really good soon. I know we've said it was decent the other day, but now we're starting to get there. It's getting to be curling up now, we'll say. And so yeah, I think by next week McDonald's could be a really good one. And again, it's at like in the 290s and it dropped down from like 315. So yeah, I mean, we get it down here. I think that bottom was probably 289 there at October 30th. And yeah, you get it under anywhere's in the 294s, 295s, see what the options are. And as long as they're under 300, you're probably safe. But again, just find that bottom and run them up. And if you can get them, I didn't look at them, but they could be 296, 297. I just pick it pretty close and know I can hit right through it and be in the money. Again, they're a little cheaper if you buy them out, but like out of the money more and longer expirations, but or shorter expirations are usually cheaper, but I buy the longer expiration and the shorter like price to just go right through it and give myself time. So, like I said, I kind of been playing it like an insurance policy, and maybe we tweak it a little bit as we get now on them, but it's just kind of like the little experiment I made, and it's been working out well, and I've been pretty happy with the results. So we'll keep moving with it, and like I said, we'll tweak it as we need to. Boeing, this went back up today, and it's setting up super bullish, guys, and I have no idea how. But I'm telling you right now, Boeing is one to keep an eye on because it's getting crazy right there. So, not sure what they're up to. No idea. They can't seem to make a product to save their life right now, but for some reason the stock wants to go flying. So just keep an eye on it. That's all we know. SPCE, Virgin Galactic, this one pulled back when their earnings were yesterday, and yeah, just kind of pulling back there. I think we're going to see a little bottom action very soon on this, and then I think you're going to see space get moving. So we'll keep an eye on Virgin Galactic and see what it wants to do. Obviously, Elon's in helping and he owns SpaceX, so I'm not sure how much they're really going to compete or whatever, but this is considered an aerospace and defense anyway. And yeah, just let it pull back. It will get set up. SPCE. And there you go with our big caps and our mag sevens. And let me rock and roll through laptop travels list real quick so I don't keep you guys all night. And then we'll kick off our pre-market tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So here we go. CMBM. Cambium Networks is looking. Oh, this had earnings when today. And this one actually looks pretty good to move tomorrow, guys, off the earnings. So I would keep an eye on that one. CMBM. Let's look. And what laptop travel just said, space is very, very cheap call options. I can believe that. It's way down. I've had a few of them. Here's the call options for McDonald's. That's a happy meal right there. Oh, he gave us the top leveraged ones. Beauty laptop travel. That's a beauty. I'll even repost that out. Thank you very much for that. Um, let's see. Um, there's a lot of symbols we didn't cover. Some are buy, some aren't set up yet. You can post a spreadsheet or list of my top 15 current buys as of today. Yeah, like I said, starting next week, I'm gonna really get like nail it down with a list. I already thought about. I'm gonna write down on the one side underneath the crypto. I think the ones that I think are gonna be the absolute poppers and I'll mark them too, but write them off to the side so they're in between that little legend and the crypto because I haven't even been using that space really. And there's like enough lines that we don't need to. And then that way it makes it really easy. So I already thought about that. So again, that's another thing I was going to try to start doing for next week. I figured we're running into the weekend, and like I said, everything's just all crazy from the election, and we just kind of pinpoint some of the options real quick that are running up. They're going to run up, pull back, and then, like I said, it's going to be like fireworks going off around here. So, that's that I plan on doing for next week to make it easier. So, definitely. And like I said, I realized that it was just tough for people to, we go through a ton, like you're saying, and I have them all marked up. You can't even tell. And I've changed the light like 4 times, and for whatever reason, it's like the shadow where my desk is. I'm gonna mess with it this weekend, and I'm telling you, I have with my brain injury, the shadows. It's like I can't see these boxes. I have to like. And my vision's supposed to be great, but it's the weirdest thing ever. So it gets me frustrated because I never had that issue, and I'm like, God damn, if I could just see this damn box like this, like I usually can. And as soon as I put my hand over there, it's like it's like an eclipse happens. It's the weirdest thing ever. So I'm gonna figure that out this weekend too, because I know you guys have listened to me talk about this light a couple times, but that's what's been going on. And again, it's just from my brain injury and yeah, the shadows and stuff like that, they mess with me. I never had that issue before. So that's why the list looks all crazy. And I looked at it, I'm like, no one can understand what the hell I'm writing here. This is crazy. So I definitely looked at that and realized it too. And so yeah, I'll make a little list and we'll make it a little better for sure. So I'll get that a little better. But there you go for the watch list. Have the scanner. Oh yeah, I could do that. Scan it in there. That could work too. I can do that. I do have a scanner on my printer. I could possibly do that real quick as well, and then kind of scan them in after I'm done and shoot it out. That way, it's a little more clear too. Yeah, but I'll figure it out. But I definitely was looking at the ones. I'm like, it's a good idea to do them on the paper and the legend, but then really sloppy, so it's hard to see for you guys. So I definitely looked at that and realized it, and I was like, I gotta fix that and make it better for you guys. So I will make sure we get better with that as well. So yeah, a couple things. Like I said, I have a list of stuff I wanted to make better this weekend that I'm gonna start working on tomorrow. So if I'm not posting as much tomorrow, you know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of working and looking at the market, just getting things done. But CXAI, that one looks great too. It was up 13 cents. It's hitting the 50, but I think that one looks great. And again, we're starting to get this different look where they're curled up and they can actually start like keep moving. So I'm like this one, I kind of like as I want to trade between that channel where it's at basically. $1.50 and $1.66, but at the same time, it looks like it can keep the momentum and roll right up there. So before it last week, I would say for sure this is going to trade between the channel and this week with this little bit of a different look and a little more momentum. It could literally get through and start moving some more as it curls through. So I'm liking it. Again, they're still just kind of transitioning into the Trump presidency. And we were looking at it, you could tell 2, 3 weeks ago, they were hardcore transitioning into it. And now they're just trying to wrap it up. So that's why I want to see if these MACDs are crossing through. As if they do and they run normal, like I said, it's just the start of something crazy for you guys. You guys have no idea. Um, I could literally, when it starts doing that, I could call. I've called up to what 7 or 800% plusers in a day. I think is the most. I think it was 8 I did in a day. So and like literally just ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, and just because it was so easy. So that's why I keep telling you guys. If it start and I can tell what's going to happen. It's just a matter if it's this week, next week, Thanksgiving time. You just can't. I just can't get a grip on the exact timing of it. Because again, it's a lot of reaction going on. So let the dust settle. By next week, I should be at a better idea. And that's why you can tell I have the patience now, the mindset. We're going to trade them perfect. And it's just going to be ba-boom, ba-boom. I'm telling you, it's going to get amazing. So just take my word for it. GBR, and then take my word, we're going to roll through this list. GBR, holy cow, dude. This one's setting up beautifully. This one may be a beautiful popper tomorrow, actually. GBR. Look at that one tomorrow morning. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, it looks great on both charts. New concept energy. It's at 119. And I mean, it could get up to that 133. And this thing, even when it runs up and pulls back, this thing's going to be great. So that's a great find right there. GBR, I like that one. Let's look at Gift. We haven't looked at it in a little while here. Oh, let me type it in right. GIFT. And it is a gift, huh? It's starting to run up there. And there it goes. It's going to go up to like that 220 area. So we did say it was going to be a nice gift the other day. It was just waiting to set up and it's going. So GIFT, you can check that out tomorrow. That should continue to run with no problem. I mean, definitely a momentum play for you because it's moving today and it's moving tomorrow. So that's GIFT. How about GV? That visionary. Oh, this is another one, guys. It ran up. I remember we looked at it last night, and I even said it's probably going to run up some. Look at it for a momentum play. It went 124 to 168 today. It's at 150 and then 173 in the after hours, and it's just going to keep going up. So this one is a beauty. GV, just keep your eye on that one. I know we looked at that HAO. It was up 2 cents. It's trying to curl up. I was looking at it earlier, and I think it might be getting there, guys. So this might be another one, that HAO. And we were early on it. When we're at 2 or 3 weeks early and they start setting up like this, they're going to be poppers. So just figure HAO is going to be a popper. Just by the look of it, you can almost tell it's right there. It's going to do it. HSDT, that Helios Medical, just this one's going to trade in between that channel. You can kind of tell exactly where it traded today, 61 to 63, but we'll just wait for that to get set up. So not a problem with that. HSDT, LDTC, Letter Tech. Oh man, this one looks really good too. This one ran up today, but it looks like it's keeping that momentum tomorrow. I mean, that one looks really good to keep its momentum. I'd say LDTC keeps its momentum tomorrow and keeps running. MLEC, I know we had looked at this one before. I forget what it was. Oh, yeah, that Mulek Sciences. I knew it had a weird name. I couldn't think of it. That's what it was. Um, it is looking pretty good. It crossed through, just flattened out, but I could see this one starting to move too. MLEC. Oh, yeah, that one looks great on my chart. MLEC, that's another one set up to get ready to go. MWG up a penny. Oh man, this one's great. Multi-ways. I remember we looked at it. We were probably looking at this 2 or 3 weeks ago too, guys. And MWG, you might want to keep an eye on that in the morning because that one's going to be running up too. That one's definitely a popper right there. NCPL. Yeah, and like these guys, I'll start writing on the side, and that way we just know. It'll make it so much easier. NCPL up 16 cents at net capital, and that looks like it wants to get through that 195. It when it does, it's blasting off, and it looks like it could tomorrow. So keep your eye on that, and right there, and it's looking good. NNVC nano something, some kind of company, Viricides or something. And that one's curling up too. I mean, all of these are just looking good. This one's popping off. If it doesn't do it tomorrow, it's going next week. It's right there. So it probably will tomorrow. All these bad boys look great. I'm not gonna lie. NRXP Laptop Travel has his scanner set right. I'll tell you that. NRXP, and that's what I'm trying to say too. Like we have these things now down every which way between our community right here that we can hit these poppers knowing like, hey, you take three of these that we know absolutely are moving tomorrow. We write them down and we can have a field day with them. I mean, you just pick whichever one you want and trade it smart. Just pick one. That's it. You don't need 10. We know three or five are definitely moving tomorrow. Just pick one and then pick an option. You got two trades that day. I'm telling you, you're making more than you go to when you go to work. I promise you. Um, I used to always say I do this because, and I owned a big landscaping and construction company and did a whole lot of other things in life. And I always said that I do this because no one can just pay me as much as I can make when I do this. It's crazy. Like I just can't go to work and make the amount of money I can make doing this. And I don't even have to get my hands dirty, nor do I have to have any overhead, employees, insurance. I don't need any of it. So it was just a no-brainer to me. And yeah, and then I loved it too. So it was kind of something I always wanted to do. And obviously, it's not something that you can just start off today and just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to just start trading unless you have like crazy amount of money from somebody. So obviously, worked my butt off my whole life. Made pretty wise investments, I think. Not everyone was the best, but you put your money out. You don't, I didn't spend it on stupid stuff, and I invested, and some of the investments do well. Some aren't always the greatest, but it's all good. You learn from them and then you just keep on moving forward. And obviously you get into this stuff and like I said, I've owned companies and almost everything. It's been wild. I was building and selling companies for 20 plus years now since my 20s. So that's why I've loved business and I just love that mindset of these things. And again, that's how you do it. You really just kind of start small and you just build it up big. And but you just have that vision of it and just know like I can't start today and be a millionaire tomorrow. It's just not going to happen. Um, and if anybody thinks they're going to do it, they're insane. You literally, and that's why I tell everybody, start when you're starting to trade with money, start with $10 because you can afford $10 because you'll go to a bar and spend that on a beer. So it's perfectly feasible. And now you're going to actually learn an education that's going to make you money for the rest of your life. So you start with $10 and you start learning how to trade that smart, and then you just add a zero, then you put $100 in, and you can trade that one smart. And like I always say, you learn how to trade smart with a small amount of money because throwing more money at it is only going to make you lose more. It's not going to make you learn how to trade smart. And when you're confident with 10, you get confident with 100, you get confident with 1,000, and then you get confident with 10 grand. And then that's when you see things really change. It seems like when you go from 10 grand to 100K, that's when it's like boom, boom, and then you'll start to really see them numbers compound. And I'm telling you, you go from 10 to 100 pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie, and you can make it from 1,000 to 10,000 pretty fast. So you just got to think small and increments. You can't think I'm gonna take this $500 and make it into $100,000. You can't think that way. I'm gonna take this $500 and I'm gonna make it into 1,000, and I'm gonna make it into two, and I'm gonna make it into three, five, 10, and you see it small jumps, and then all of a sudden you go, wow, I just took $1,000 and made it into 10. That's pretty impressive. Let me do that same concept with this 10 and make it into 20. And then boom, ba boom, ba boom. And now you can see how you can compound it. But don't think you're taking 500 and making 100K. And a lot of people get into this, and that's the mindset that they have. And you get toasted because you're looking for these grand slams all the time, and you just can't hit them. You got to hit these small, easy winners like singles and doubles. They win games, and the home runs and the grand slams come along every once in a while. It's the same thing with this. And like I said, once you just start seeing them compounding, it just gets wild. And you just start hitting them certain numbers. Like I said, your account just starts growing to certain spots and you get really confident with it and comfortable. And then you can start, raising the stakes a little bit because you know what you're doing. But you don't do it right at the beginning when you're trying to learn how to do it and make bad decisions. You make bad decisions with $10 and then you go, I don't want to make that decision when I have 1,000 on there. So that's why I try to lead people down the right road and tell you what my experience has been. And again, doing it for over 20 years, I can promise you I've made every mistake you could possibly make, probably twice. I had a thick head, I guess. Clearly, it took that off my head to jack with a house. So I must be thick-headed and yeah, sometimes it would take me 2 or 3 times to learn the same stupid lesson, but I learn them. And again, I pass my experiences off to you to try to prevent you guys from making stupid mistakes like I have. And obviously, you're going to make mistakes. No one's going to be 100% doing this. And I'd say it all the time. I'm definitely well aware that I'm never going to pick 100% accuracy. It's just never going to happen. And so you have to know that going in that you're going to have some losses and be fine with that. Like I said, I look at them as the overhead for a business. And and you have to be fine with that. You can't be like, oh, I can only go winners, or I'm going to take this one and I'm going to wait it out until it turns back around and goes to a winner, because just cut your losses real quick if you're not confident in it and it's going down. Get the hell out of it and allocate that money to the next winner. You can make up that small loss so fast and then some and not worry about it, not lose sleep. So just trying to give you a little insight as we move along. And like I said, we're going to get fired up and you're going to start seeing your accounts moving and you're going to go, damn, this dude knows what he's talking about. In this, I mean, nothing else that I can tell you, but I can tell you this stupid stuff. So just pay attention and just do it patiently and smart. And I'm telling you, it works out great. And that's all I can tell you. But here, let's roll through the rest of this list real quick. Call it a night. PTIX, because all of these are great. I'm telling you. Oh, this one definitely is going up tomorrow. Let me see in the after. I remember we looked at this, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I remember we looked at, yeah, that one. I can't imagine it not going up tomorrow. Let's put it that way. PTIX. I mean, it looks amazing right there. REBN. That's at Reborn Coffee. This one came out, and this is what we want to see. Honestly, I'm glad this one's on here. It's curling up really nice to hit that line right there. It came out of the basement like it should. It ran up to the 20 like it should. It looks like a normal setup chart to me right now. And honestly, if I scroll back, it looks like crap. And then you get to hear it like, hey, it finally kind of did what it was supposed to do. And it jumps right out at me real quick. I can just tell immediately. So again, I'm looking for that because it will be life changing. I promise you, because it's going to be wild. Like I said, we'll just hit 100%ers. Not we can hit everything. It won't even matter. You can hit them up and down. That's why it's so great, because you can literally with options and what I've learned, and I was always so scared about the put options. People they sell it to you like you can lose your house, but that's only if you're doing these crazy trades. If you're just doing a straight up put option and you think the stock's going from 30 to 25 and you buy it at 30 and your strike's at 29 and then it doesn't happen to hit it, you only lose whatever you put into it. I was always under the assumption that you could lose like tenfolds in that, and that's only like they make like these straddles and naked spreads and all kinds of crazy shit that you can trade. And we're not doing any of that. We're just doing a basic call and put option, and that's it. It's a piece of cake. The only amount that you can lose is whatever you put into it. So that's uh that's what we're doing. And again, it I was always under that assumption that you could lose a lot, but that's if you're doing these crazy, crazy trades. And honestly, we won't even be doing many puts except when the market's moving downward. You ride it down real quick and then you ride it down to the bottom and you buy them back up. So we're gonna hit it every which way. And it's gonna be exciting. Reverb, or I said this yesterday, Reverb. I guess it's called Reverb, but it's called Revelation Biosciences, but it's REVB, so it looks like Reverb, but that's what the ticker looks like to me. Anyway, it's setting up to 20 and 50. It should get moving, I would say. Maybe next week it'll be perfect if it doesn't bounce tomorrow, but I don't think it will, but it could. SPRC. This one looks really good too. I could imagine this one getting up to 25. It's at 24 cents. It's going to run up to 25 cents and see where it goes. Not nothing crazy, but it looks good. And it could get set up to run even higher. SST, oh, this one looks pretty decent. It had earnings when? Today? Yeah, today we're oh yeah, this one I saw this one on. Did I write this down yesterday? I think we looked at it real quick. I know we did. I remember the name System One. Um, on that earnings list yesterday. And yeah, I probably said this one was going to dip down, and guess what? It went up a little bit. So I'm just looking at it, assuming what I said, just because I'm looking at it hit that line, and I'd be like, ah, that should go down. And it popped up some, not much. It was 110 to 113, and its low is 103, but it came up to the 113. Now it looks pretty good to try to bounce up. It still has a weird look, but it's definitely going to pop up there, SST. So keep your eye on it. But again, just going into the earnings, that's what I was kind of looking at, and I just can't tell. I have no idea. And but I know one thing, SUGP is looking real good. So keep your eye on that one because that one should crawl up more tomorrow and get moving. I'm telling you, most of this list is perfect for tomorrow. And if not, they're running next week. SV SVRE is Saver One. I know it's split before and ran up. Let's see, it's down there. It's trying to crawl. Oh, I'm keeping my eye on this one for sure because this is one of them curl up ones where it's flat, not in the basement, but it's flat down there. And if it gets the right movement right there on the RSI, curls through and it moves it up on the MACD, we're getting back into somewhere because they couldn't do that before either. I promise you. So, it almost has that look. Laptop Travel knows exactly what I'm looking at, and he agrees because I'm telling you, it wouldn't have done that in a million years. The last 3 years, it couldn't have. It just couldn't have done it. UK, this one was always looking good the other day, and it did pop up a little bit. And yeah, this one I don't see why it wouldn't run up to like 135 tomorrow. It's already at 130 in the after hours. But yeah, UK is looking really solid right there. I mean, this list is as solid as it gets. And VKTX, that Viking Therapeutics. Remember, this one's getting what the hell was happening with it? The were they like getting bought out or doing something? I forget what the heck they're doing, but I'll tell you what, it's bouncing back. We were looking at it last night, and Laptop Travel was giving us some info on it, and it looks like it's about to make that hard curl. And I could see this guy getting back, like jumping up almost $10 with no problem there. So that's VKTX. And then it's really going to get set up and roll. So there you go with VKTX. And let me see if I got everything. Um, yeah, I post all the picks on here, and then I post them on Stock Twits, or yeah, Stock Twits. I usually post them on Stock Twits first, and then I post them over here. And then if you follow on Stock Twits, you can tell I do post a little bit different stuff. I mean, try to post the same, but people ask questions on certain stock tickers on there, and I answer them. So, and then sometimes I don't post that answer over on here. So and vice versa. A lot of people ask me a ton of stuff on here now. So yeah, I use them both. And like I say, StockTwits is by far the best stock app out there. Um, it's just a great little app to use. It tracks the pricing great. It's always up to date. It's really good. It's solid. And yeah, so I've been using it for years and I just it's easy for me to do. And before Elon bought Twitter, um, it used to be set up, but Elon removed the code because they told me uh it used to be set up where I used to just type it in on StockTwits and it would automatically post it to Twitter for me, but now I post them manually. But again, I post them both on there and so yeah, boom, there you go. And like I said, I'm gonna definitely start posting the pics that we definitely like on the one side, and I'll take a picture of it, mark up the other stuff, and we'll be on the same page. And probably not go through as many. Maybe run through the scanners a little bit more, my scanner, the other scanner, see exactly what you guys want to look at. So anything you guys send over, we're obviously going to look at it. And again, just kind of nail down exactly what we need to look at. So let's look at the we'll look at the yin and the yang real quick. I know someone sent me a message about it. And again, we're gonna look at it in the morning, but real quick, actually, laptop travel is what are they doing over there now? Because they're just gonna have like that China's going to do the stimulus package. So I guess we're just waiting on that. I don't know what time that would even be. That would be my question. Laptop travel is what time do you think that gets announced over there? Because the yen looks really good to try to cross through, and the way that they're moving right now, I could definitely see it going through and getting cruising. So it won't be good for the yang, that's for sure. And so yeah, they're definitely up to something. And you can tell they were waiting for someone to win. It was gonna be a different story if Harris won, let's put it that way. Because I mean the chart literally turned around big time. And and yeah, it dipped down. And like I said, we're gonna watch to see if that yank can hit the bottom and bounce, but I'm not so sure the way the yin's set up right now. So like I said, we'll definitely have the info on the whatever the stimulus package is. I'm sure laptop travel will keep us updated, and he's probably looking right now, I'm sure. And he'll keep us updated. He'll post it, and I'll repost it for sure. And we'll look at it at 7 a.m. tomorrow and see what's going on, how it opens up. But that's what it looks like at the moment for our yin and our yang. So I'll keep you definitely updated on that. And they need to bring that feature back to X where they do the automatic thing. Yeah, it's all good. I don't mind it. It's actually fun. I jump back and forth now and I actually enjoy talking to everybody. It's become way better. So here we go. Kind of feels as if they're on their own. They are meeting right now, should hear after 6 a.m. New York time. So I'm sure Laptop Travel will keep us updated. So at 7 a.m. on pre-market, I'll give us an update on what happened over there, and we'll definitely look at the yin and the yang and go from there. So yeah, they're definitely making a plan now that Trump won, and they're obviously reassessing their economy as well because I'm telling you better believe every country knows that we're about to become the strongest and best. It's going to be the best America's ever been. I'm telling you right now, you can already see it happening. And like I've told you, just from my experience of living a miracle, I don't think you're gonna. Yeah, he hasn't been on Twitter. I don't think for 2 days, and and I don't think you're gonna see all the name calling and the nonsense. It's gonna run like a well-oiled machine. The guy's gonna be completely focused. He's gonna have a team around him that's like a dream team, and you're just gonna see it run the right way. And I don't think everybody realizes that, and people are having these meltdowns. And again, you got the mainstream media calling this guy Hitler. I mean, acting like the guy's like Hitler. I mean, it's kind of crazy when and you spread information like that because I talk to people, even relatives, and it's like talking to a wall. Like I had my aunt, for example, I was texting with her, and I'm like, I'm telling her, I'm like, listen, like. I pretty much was the only one that called the election exactly the way it would go. So I must see something. And I promise you, if you're watching mainstream media, you have no idea what you're talking about. And they've just brainwashed everybody. And if you don't see it after what just happened yesterday, like I said, I don't think you'll ever get it because there's just no way you can't see that, you know, the entire country needed to have a change. For what reason? It doesn't become a landslide victory like that because the mainstream media is telling you the truth. I mean, it's just it doesn't add up. And again, and then they bring up the 2020 votes that 20 million are missing. Well, if 20 million are missing, you should be asking about where them extra 20 million came from because guess what? We never had them numbers in this election and in the last three around it. So where did the extra 20 million votes come from? And it just so happened that's the year that they pushed the mail-in ballots the most. So I mean, it's just, and again, you give me the chart, and I go, that was manipulated." So it's not even a question anymore in my mind. It was totally a fraud, and like I was just saying, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Trump won the last election too by looking at this chart. It might not have been a landslide. I know I wrote landslide, but I'm betting that he had won the election last year, the last that 2020, by looking at that chart. And then just remember, he was up when everyone went to bed. He was up, and I didn't even remember this, but my wife was telling me, she's like, "Yeah, that's why no one would go to bed this year because last year he was up by a lot, and everyone went to bed and woke up, and then all of a sudden Biden, they found all these votes, and he was up, and so I guess everybody felt like they couldn't go to sleep. I had a lot of people, knew a ton of people were like, I couldn't go to sleep until I knew, like I wasn't going to bed, like like we were gonna like people were gonna stop it from cheating or something. But it's kind of funny that everyone in 2020 went to bed and woke up like, holy shit, what happened? And yeah, it wasn't happening this time. And again, it was just a landslide. It wasn't even close. He swept the entire thing. And I never even seen the official thing, but I saw Elon post out that, he had won Arizona and they won everything. And I'm guessing that he wasn't putting out false information. I never looked it up because I assumed that he was correct. And yeah, they straight up landslide it. And again, there was never a time in 3 months that it ever looked like it was going to be close. And it was a landslide for a reason because everybody is tired of all the bullshit. And the people that are sitting here crying and upset, like I say, you need to kind of look at things and go, well, you know what? There was a huge change for a reason. Let me reevaluate things, and maybe the rest of the people actually know what's going on, and maybe I'm seeing it differently because that's how I look at things. I try to put myself in both parties and shoes, and that's why I try to make rational decisions. And but yeah, you just can't just walk around and act like what they were doing was okay. It was just insanity what was going on in this country, and people had enough of it. So that was that, and that's why it was a landslide. But let me just look one more because I just saw somebody sent one in. Oh, laptop travel TPST. Let's look at it. And the Shanghai SSEI right now. What's it at? Oh, it's down, huh? That's interesting. Very interesting there. So yeah, we're definitely going to be looking at the yin and the yang, and we'll have laptop travel. He's up at 4 a.m. trading anyway, so we'll definitely get a update on what's going on with the China stimulus. And you're right, TPST is about to become a beast. You're not kidding. It's sitting right in the perfect spot right there. Holy cow. Yeah, add that one to your list too. TPST. That's looking really healthy for tomorrow, I'll tell you that. So there you go. And again, another great night, almost 3 hours. Holy cow. I've been talking a lot, but again, it's been an exciting week. I'll get back to just doing the stock charts and rolling through the shows quick. Next week, election and all that good stuff we've been talking about and fun stuff. So, and breaking down a lot of options talk. So I'll get all that stuff. Like I said, I got a few things I'm going to work on this weekend. I'm definitely going to make the list a little bit better and cleaner for you. I was even already thinking, let me make the boxes bigger. I'm going to mess with the lighting. We'll get it all together and get it right because we're entering that time where it's going to get crazy. So that's what we're excited for. So there you go, guys, and I'll see everybody at 7 a.m. Have a good night. Thank you, everyone. Laptop travel, always little Iron Man. Eileen's always been hanging out. O'Hare's bastard child, always hanging out. Jennifer Lee, Doji Cat. Bong, Prichan, Natasha, DTM, G Beachski, I think is, and Supreet, somebody. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but I greatly appreciate everybody. I know there was a lot more people and it got really late. And apologize for that. And like I said, we'll make them quicker next week and get back to really nailing down the poppers. So just an exciting time. I think I'm going to go play some midnight golf out back and hit some golf balls around for a little bit while I wait for this to download, and I'll upload all the videos because I was like, holy shit, I didn't even, it's been such a wild week. I don't think I uploaded the last night show or this morning. So I'm going to get them up and this one. So all that good stuff. And there you go. And then we'll get ready for our Friday morning. And I'm telling you, it's going to get wild. Whether it's next week, it really starts. We might see a little pullback, but it's not a big deal. It's just, we're going to have a great time with this. So there you go. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Greatly appreciate it. And have a good night and get some rest. And I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. See you in the morning, everybody.